right, I'm gonna call the select board to order on May 21st. I'm gonna go over the agenda quickly. First, I would like to welcome our newest select board member, Melissa Murphy, to the board. And thank her for running. I think I saw Tara in here. Thank Tara for running. So welcome. And so tonight we have we're on RCTV, all the fun channels, you guys know that. And so public comment.
We're muted, sorry.
Oh, yeah, great. Okay, we'll start that over.
Sorry about that.
My bad. All
All
right,
right, awesome.
I'll rewind. All right.
Rewind. Sorry.
Calling the select board to order.
Yep.
Sorry about that. And May 21st, I'll go over the agenda. I'd like to welcome Melissa, newly elected select board member. I'd like to thank Tara. Tara's here for running. And tonight we have public comment, liaison town manager reports, Eagle Scouts proclamations. We're gonna interview 3 candidates for the CPA study committee. We're gonna have an EMS proclamation week, Pride Month resolution, a Killam School building update. And then we have a hearing for our non-union classification compensation schedules. And then at approximately 9 o'clock, we're gonna discuss and vote on new liaison assignments and VASC as well. And then after that, we're gonna appoint a new member, hopefully, to the retirement board, 3 applicants as well. And then we have future agenda minutes and all that stuff. So it is, so public comment is first. So would anyone like to speak on public comment, please? Nancy?
Nancy Dr. Pearl Street, Precinct 1 meeting member. Now that there's a full board, congratulations. I'm hoping this board will finally discuss and adopt the code of ethics that you all had presented a few months ago. If the board chooses not to, I do believe you owe the community at least some discussion as to the arguments against adopting such a code. Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else? Carol?
Hi, also, it's nice to see 5 people up here again. Congratulations, Melissa.
Could you state your name and address, please?
Oh, sorry. Carolyn Johnson, Thorndike Street. I know every select board member sitting here is passionate about Reading. Unfortunately, at the February 17th meeting, Chris Haley's passion took us down a wrong path. At that meeting, Mr. Haley recklessly and publicly pounced when he harangued his colleague, Mark Doxer, with unsubstantiated allegations that Mr. Doxer had played a nefarious role in former chair Jackie McCarthy's resignation. Mr. Haley's irresponsible behavior continued in subsequent meetings when his accusations became suggestions of criminal activity, including bribery and extortion. As a result, Mark Doxer's reputation was viciously and unfairly dragged through the mud. For months, Mr. Haley has been trying to out any perceived wrongdoing by his colleagues and other members of our community. His improper handling of the situation has fueled endless public speculation, and insinuations of extortion and blackmail are still present on local social media. Whatever anyone thinks about what happened, one thing is clear. Jackie McCarthy never wrote in any of her recent letters that she feels she was the victim of a crime. Since the February 17th meeting, Mr. Haley has made some attempts to explain his actions. However, a full public apology from him is long overdue. Moreover, Mr. Doxer deserves a sincere apology, not one filled with justifications, excuses, and deflection. I hope Mr. Haley will demonstrate some real leadership by apologizing for his behavior towards Mr. Doxer. In addition to an apology for Mr. Doxer, the select board may still want to consider an investigation focused only on the actions of board members during the town manager search process, including the open meeting law violation, as well as what happened after Ms. McCarthy's resignation. Both could help our community heal from the events of the past several months. I know that Mr. Haley cares about Reading, just as we all do, and I believe we all want to move on to focus on the pressing issues facing our town. Thank you.
Anyone else? I forget to mention, I don't like interrupting anybody, but just try to keep it at 2 minutes, yeah, that looks short, that one looks short, yeah. Just, yeah, thank you.
I'm Linda Snowdoxer, and I live on Beaver Road in Reading. First of all, I want to thank you all for your service to our town. Thank you for running, Melissa and Tara. It's huge service you do to our town. A lot of time, I've seen it intimately. It's common knowledge, I'm also Mark Doxer's wife. But I'm here actually as a member of CATO, the coalition of us. And we want to formally welcome Melissa to the board and to publicly say that we're looking forward to meeting with the select board on June 18th. The agenda item is scheduled to follow up our December 5th proposal for an ad hoc committee to help the select board follow through on its August 9th, 2022 proclamation to annually celebrate and educate about Bill Russell's history and legacy of civil rights and sportsmanship in Reading. We look forward to meeting with our new town manager, with our select board chair, and with Melissa being a new member of this committee before the larger meeting so that we can answer any and all of your questions and hear your concerns. Thank you all for playing such an important role in our town. We look forward to working with you to make this a great town for everyone who lives, works, worships, and visits here. Thank you.
Thank you. Would anyone in the room, anyone else in the room like to speak, please? Seeing none. Caitlin, anyone on Zoom?
No one raising their hand.
All right, so we are on to liaison reports. I'll start with Chris, please.
Thank you, Carla. Not much really has transpired in the last 2 weeks, other than the school committee met with the METCO program ended up getting level funded, so we might be losing 60 grand based off that, but Tom Wise is currently working. I believe he wrote a letter to see about maybe recuperating that funding. But other than that, they also received excellence on these food service program at the schools. So Catherine Franzetti's been doing a great job over there. They got celebrated by that from, I think Jason Lewis was the other one, maybe Brad Jones was there too. But that sums up that. I did just want to thank obviously Melissa for running, for being here. Also Laura Gem again for running back-to-back elections and then is gonna have to run another election in November. I know it's a lot of work that they put in to go ahead and do that, so kudos to them for pulling it off once again. And lastly, I did weigh different scenarios from what else I was gonna say regarding this. But I kind of wanted to move the board forward, so I wouldn't be going in that direction, but simply state that I stand by each and everything that I have ever said up here on the select board. Everything. I regret nothing. The only decision I ever regret making is giving up the EV parking spots outside of Christopher's Restaurant, because we lost a parking spot for that. Other than that, I regret nothing else. And I would just like to also reiterate what happened to Jackie McCarthy should never happen to another person in this town again. And I think it's crystal clear that a majority of the town agrees with me as well. So thank you.
Karen, please.
Sure. So the Killam School Building Committee is going at 100 miles an hour, so that is keeping us very, very busy, meeting 2 or 3 times a week in main committee meetings, leadership meetings, and our today the Sustainability Working Group kicked off. We had an amazing presentation from our HVAC engineer specialists about the range of possibilities that could heat and cool our new school, and as well as their relative and efficient energy efficiencies and maintenance and long-term reliability. It was wonderful. Thank you, Jenny. She's here tonight, and she'll talk to us more about where the project is at. We also yesterday conducted another community meeting at the senior center. Chair Carla Nazaro's in the audience. She headed up a panel where we had people who regularly visit the senior center, although it was open to the community, so we had all ages in the audience, and there'll be more of them coming up. And again, we have a website now, killamschool.com, and as the project moves along, all of these community meetings, our committee meetings and traffic studies and the like are all being posted. So if you want to get regular updates, you can also submit your name there and you will get reminders of upcoming community meetings. So I'm sorry to miss the badge pinning ceremony. I was under the weather the last week or so, but I did get to meet one of our newest firefighters in person and congratulate him personally. But I just wanted to again congratulate everybody who is promoted and pinned from RPD and RFD. And yesterday I did have an opportunity to catch up with Senator Lewis, and we talked about the millionaire's tax, and I was alerted there was a Boston Globe article about this yesterday, and as state revenues are softening a bit from their highs during the pandemic, the good news is that the millionaire's tax is on track for at least $1 billion. I don't know what the newspaper said, but our senator said it's on track for $1 billion as planned, and next year they expect it to go up by about 30%, so maybe $1.3 billion, and that will be used for roads, transportation, and schools. So what that means for us, what that will likely mean for us this year, continuation of school meals, which are award-winning school meals, the tuition-free college program the first 2 years. Also, I understand there's gonna be some investment in early literacy, or at least that's what the senator's hoping for and putting forward in the Senate budget. Chapter 90, more money for our roads, and Lord knows we could use the help because, I don't know, there wasn't that much snow, but we still got a lot of potholes anyway. So that was great, and yep, that's it, thanks.
Mark?
Thanks, Carla. So 3 things. One, I was able to attend the badge pinning ceremony, to represent the board, which was great. It was a wonderful event. Sat next to Matt and the entire state delegation, which was
Oh,
pretty cool
good.
too. So yeah, that was really
Nice.
nice. Second, so Recalc has been meeting, continues to meet to talk about taking next steps with the Active Living Center. And what we are planning to do, and I see it's on the June 18th agenda, is to present to the select board where we are. We did go in front of, or I went in front of the Permanent Building Committee and shared the proposal for them to consider to take on as a project. Their preliminary read was, yes, they think that they should do that. The timing is perfect for site selection. And they're planning to have a meeting on June 3rd.
I think so.
I think June 3rd, a kind of a follow-up meeting to have discussions. They're all planning to walk the sites and explore the different areas. And we'll see where they are at that point in terms of recommendations for next steps. I don't know whether or not they'll be able to say this is a recommended site or these sites are all okay, but let's see what their next step is. I think that's gonna be the guidance in terms of where we go. Recalc is scheduled to sunset at the end of June, so maybe on the 18th, we'll have to decide if the board wants to consider extending slightly or not. But let's see what we get from the building committee, I think, first.
Alright.
And then last item, I will bring this up again under future agenda items, but this board desperately needs to live by its code of conduct. And that has not happened, and that needs to come back to the surface, and I think it's a good future agenda item for us to tackle.
I agree.
Thank you.
Alright, normally Melissa would speak, but if you
Can I
have,
just take 1 second?
yeah,
If
you
it's appropriate.
wanna plug something or say something, sure, go right ahead,
Thank you.
go right ahead.
I just want to extend my heartfelt thanks to everyone, especially the residents who took the time to go to the polls and vote on May 14th. I'm indebted to all the residents who volunteered and supported me in various ways throughout my campaign. I'm incredibly grateful for my campaign's team support, encouragement, and advice. Your help was invaluable in the success of my campaign. I also wanted to thank Tara for your willingness to run, and I look forward to working with you on town matters in the future. I'm eager to begin working with this board, Matt, town staff, volunteers from all the various boards and committees, and our entire community to working for the betterment of Reading. Together, we can achieve great things. Once again, I want to express my greatest gratitude to everyone. Thank you.
Thank you. All right, our next agenda item, which we haven't done in a while, and,
Excuse me,
Oh,
do you have
sorry.
updates or just?
oh, yeah, ooh, me. Yes and no, but, I echo Karen's sentiments. I, just got back from Belgium, the night of the pinning, so I was not able to attend. I'm glad Mark attended, and I echo Karen's comments. And, yeah, just looking forward to our Memorial Day celebration. And, so we have, coming up in the next several weeks, we're gonna be interviewing and then eventually appointing new people to boards and committees. So if anyone out there has any interest in a board or committee that they wanna serve on, please apply, go to the town website. It's a simple one-page application, send it to Laura, and then you'll have an interview. So we're a town of volunteers, we're all volunteers. So I encourage anyone who has any interest. There are a lot of boards, a lot of open positions. We don't know who's not re-upping yet, so there might be more seats than normal. Some people fall off and don't, retire from their board. And, but I know we have openings, so I encourage that. And that's all I have. Matt?
Thank you. So we mentioned the badge pinning. That was a great event. Thanks to all and congratulations to all. I also attended the Reading Garden Club annual plant sale on the Common, which was very well attended. And so congrats to the Garden Club on another great year. Big success. Also, the police department held their open house on Saturday, so I attended that event as well. It's like a two-for on Saturday, so it went very well. Memorial Day is the 9 a.m. At the American Legion. We'll start the parade and then move on to the cemetery for some speeches and remarks there. And also the Boston 25 zip trip is scheduled for the 21st of June. That was a long time in the making, but we can finally announce it now. They've announced it on social media. It's going to be at Camp Curtis, and we'll have more details to follow, but I think it's going to be a great event for the community. So that's a little wrap up of the events coming up.
And just, last time, we were lucky enough when we owned the Chocolate Truffle to be part of it. Are they gonna allow vendors?
I think they are. I think there's a fee to, like we mentioned, a fee to be a vendor there. The TV station is really taking the lead on that.
Okay.
But there will be vendors there, and obviously the public can come and go as they wish.
So we're going to need to figure out how to reach out and how
Sure,
they
yeah, I think
can.
they're already doing that, but
Okay.
I'll touch base with the TV
Okay.
station again, so.
Yeah, it was, last time I here, it was a great event, beautiful day, and,
Yeah, it's been several years now, but,
a lot, yeah.
so that's the, those are the updates on the events.
Great,
Yeah.
thank you.
Thank you.
On to Eagle Scout recognitions. We have, what would be your title? I'm sorry.
The Scoutmaster.
Scoutmaster Ian Nelson, who's also a police officer in town.
Different uniform, guy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
also a
yeah.
police officer in town, and
I wear many uniforms.
thank you for
On the wall.
thank you for your service to the town, and thank you for even extending yourself to these fine young men. So if you want to share a few words.
Absolutely, absolutely. My name's Ian Nelson. I am the Scoutmaster, the current Scoutmaster, Troop 702. I'll just take a few minutes of your time, but I want to start off by saying thank you very much. Thank you to the chair for inviting us. Thank you for the board for having us and humoring me. I want to thank all the volunteers and all the town volunteers and the town employees that work with my scouts. I want to give a particular shout out to both Bill Sullivan of the Town Forest Committee, but also Kathy Kelly of Trails. The amount of work that these two guys next to me and all our Eagles and all our Scouts do is immense, and the work that the volunteers and employees do with them none of this would happen without them. So I really want to thank them. I also want to take a moment and thank the 702 parents, all the adult volunteers that wear the tan shirts and don't wear the tan shirts and make it all work. Scouting is strong in Reading. We have 4 units plus a parent organization. That makes hundreds of our youth are involved in it. I want to talk a little bit about Troop 702. We are the troop in town right now. We have over 60 boys and girls that are registered that participate. We have weekly meetings that have over 40 scouts. We do monthly trips that are extremely well attended. And then we have high adventure trips where our older scouts get to go for week-long backpacking trips, everything you would imagine that we do. We also do countless service hours. These kids volunteer themselves over and over and over again throughout their entire career. We take a lot of pride in that. Troop 702 itself is over 100 years old. We've been out of the Old South Church since Scouting began. We've had over 140 Eagles in that time, but I don't want to just concentrate on just them. So many kids come through, and every single one of them participate. They learn great skills. Getting to Eagle is not an easy road. I'm going to talk very briefly about that. It's a very small percentage that make it, so I want to congratulate all our youths that participate in such a great program. So the vision statement of Scouting America, the recently rebranded Scouting America, reads, Scouting America will prepare every eligible youth in America to become a responsible, participating citizen and leader who's guided by the Scout Oath and the Scout Law. One of the reasons why I'm a big supporter, my family's a big supporter, and obviously these guys here in the troop is exactly what the pillars are. I'm going to go real briefly into them. When people think of scouting, they think of outdoorsmanship. Certainly we do that. We teach them how to camp, tent, cook in the woods, start fires, do all that, tie knots, do all that stuff. However, I think what people misunderstand is how much civic responsibility and education that we do. I'll talk, as I said, I'm going to mention briefly about Eagles, getting to Eagle. They have to learn an awful lot. They have to learn how to be a good citizen in the nation, a good citizen in the community, and a good citizen in society, along a vast array of other things. And then the last pillar is just general education. They explore a lot with their merit badges. They learn so many different life skills they can apply, and some of them even figure out what they want to do in life just because of all that. All these pillars are super important. We take all of them very seriously. So lastly, why we're here. Eagle Scouts. So Eagle Scouts is a lot. Both these guys worked at it for about 7 years in order to get there. You got to get there before your 18th birthday. They have to earn 21 merit badges, 14 are required. That's exactly, they all embody what the pillars are. Things like cooking and first aid and citizenship and all those. They have to function as leaders. Both of these young men behind me did exactly that. They start down at just patrol leading a small number of young middle school age scouts, and they go all the way up until they run the troop themselves. It's quite impressive. They set the agendas, they gather all the gear, they do all of it themselves. The adults, we're just kind of there hanging out, guiding, making sure no one's getting hurt. Everyone knows what an Eagle, or most people know exactly what an Eagle Project is. An Eagle Project is an extreme undertaking that they take, that they literally come up with an idea and they carry it all the way through fruition. I'm going to speak about both these scouts' Eagle Project, but I did want to say one comment a mother said to me recently as one of my other scouts just achieved Eagle. She came up to me after the fact and she basically said something, I'm paraphrasing, something along the lines of, it's amazing how much work that these scouts put in. And that so many people don't actually see the amount of work. So that's why I want to thank the board for this time so I can get up here, speak briefly about, not a lot of kids work 7 years selflessly for other people in order to achieve something. And that's exactly what these Eagle Scouts did. So first, on my right, this is Nicholas Bellows. I've had the joy of actually knowing both of them since they were first graders and watch them grow up into the young men they are.
Did you bring pictures?
Say again?
Did you bring pictures of when they were first?
Oh, you should see some of the pictures I have. They were a lot smaller.
I was hoping you bring some. Oh, wow, next time.
Yeah, thank you. He's graduating, is graduating Reading Memorial High School class of 24. He eagled back in September prior to his 18th birthday. He had the unique experience of being our senior patrol leader. That is the guy who's in charge of everything during COVID. He kept us together. He ran the Zoom meetings when we were able to get back outside. He did all that together. That was unique, and he did it at a younger age as well. He was, 14 at the time? He was 14 at the time. He kept us together during that very difficult time. He's going to head up to UMass Lowell and UMass Amherst and study computer science. And then briefly about his project. He picked his project because, as he said, his parents came to this country and English was a second language for both of them. As such, he was made aware of a program out of Lynn that does little libraries that concentrates as English as a second language. So he, with a lot of adult guidance, but with his own hands and his hard work, he created over 20 of those little libraries, got them set up, and then gave, all donated, raised the money to build them, saw them built, and then had them delivered and donated to that charity that then will paint them and then see them spread around the city of Lowell. So he did that very difficult infrastructure and completed it very successfully. So congratulations, Nick. So on my left is Jeffrey Lonks. Jeff Lonks, he eagled back in December. He's graduating the Northeast Regional Vocational School again this year in 2024. He's moving forward and secured employment in the construction industry. He ended actually as my junior assistant scoutmaster. That meant that he was responsible not for the whole troop, but for the youngest troop, the youngest in that troop, which you can imagine is quite a lot of work. A lot of the bridges you guys walk on, I mentioned the Trails Committee and stuff and the Town Forest Committee, a lot of you were able to walk on. The Scouts have built and maintained them over the years. And one of the longest ones, I nicknamed Alligator Alley, I'm not sure of a better name for it, but a quite long section, Jeff saw it. So we see the removal and we see the replacement of these bridges. And he worked hand in glove with the Trails Committee and the Town Forest Committee to see it done. So that was his project. So again, I want to thank you guys for the few minutes to get up here and speak about these two scouts, the program, and what we're trying to achieve there. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much. I feel very inadequate right now, so thank you. So Chris has a few things to mention, and then we'll take a group picture. And there's one scout not here, but you can present that as well.
I guess, yeah, if you want me to speak on Charles Mace, right? He's the one that's not here?
Yeah, Charlie Mace unfortunately wasn't able to make it.
So it looks as if he did the bridge over at Bear Meadow Conservation Area. Was that the one that someone did a GoFundMe for that I recall seeing, or is that someone else?
Thankfully, the internet has allowed a lot of our fundraising to take place with the GoFundMes. It's pretty popular that we do. And then again, working with Trails and with Town Forest, they're able to amplify that message, get it out there, and these scouts are able to raise the funds to get the projects done. And there's a lot of generous groups around town as well that donate to the troops, projects.
Awesome. So yeah, I do have certificates for Nicholas and Jeff as well. So do you want to sign them first, Carlo, and then give them to him?
No, we won't make him wait. We'll sign them later.
Okay.
Get them, maybe do a picture with these guys.
Okay. Do you want to take the Charles one?
Flag?
Absolutely.
Right here? Okay.
Yeah, have them hold the certificate.
Let them fall in.
Huh? Just in here.
Thank you very much.
Do they have to be signed?
Yeah, guys, come on. We'll get a picture of you separately. Just pile on it. Tall guys in the back, short guys in the back.
Thank you so
Yeah.
much. I love the
Great job.
trails.
Great
Thank you.
job.
Congratulations.
Good job.
Way in the back.
Good job.
Ross,
Sorry.
nice job. Congratulations.
No.
Congratulations.
Gentle.
Let me get a certificate.
All right, good.
Thank you very much, guys.
Like
the best way to
this,
do
it's
it.
gonna work.
Oops. Angle? Yeah, angle. Yeah, there you go.
It's okay to smile, Jeff.
Now, who are we looking at first? Do Carla first.
Yeah.
And then Bob next. Bob, did you get a good one? We weren't looking at you.
Bob, take it again.
We weren't looking at Bob. Come on.
Look at Bob.
Perfect.
All right.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
Can the board members start saying here, please?
Thank you. Shouldn't we sign it before they leave?
Yeah, we'll sign it. Guys, guys. We're gonna do a group picture for the website. We don't have a
Oh,
picture
that's
of
a
it.
really good idea.
5 minutes.
What do we do?
Just, guys, hang on for 2 minutes, sorry.
Oh, wait.
Yeah.
Just for the
Select board, just.
Yeah, select board.
Yeah, good idea.
Are we taking?
You, no, just you.
Oh, just me, sorry, I lied.
Select board only for a minute.
Sorry.
Okay, ready? 1, 2, 3. Smile. Smile. Good.
All right, thank you, guys.
Website.
All right, we're gonna sign these, okay.
Just pile up for you.
Yeah.
Be-
Why don't- you want one, Bob?
Be prepared, right?
Yeah, thank you. Backwards, Carl. Yeah. Thank you.
We need a pen, huh? Thank you.
Is that one?
Moving in the frame.
So actually, they're both continuous, so the only one you're supposed to.
Ooh, the official.
Yeah.
Coming up. We could have both been challenged to it, but no.
That's very cool. That's very cool.
Val, I took your pen.
Is that mine?
It was there.
Yeah, thank you.
But you're an adult now with the non.
Awesome. All right. Pass those over, Mark. Thank you, appreciate it. All right, thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Yeah, right?
Thank you so much.
All right, now we're gonna interview and appoint a resident member to the CPA Community Preservation Act Study Committee. We have 3 applicants, I'm just gonna go in order that is in our packet. So Eleanor, is Eleanor here?
Yes, hi.
Eleanor, if you can come up to the podium, please. Just maybe take a few minutes, introduce yourself, and then we'll ask you some questions.
Okay, hi, my name is Eleanor Actipis. I'm a fairly new resident in Reading and really excited to live here and put down roots. And I've done a lot of volunteer work for years and animal welfare and civil rights in my kids' school in my previous town. And I want my volunteer focus to be hyper-local, help me settle into Reading, and I really appreciate what a beautiful town this is. I'm from an ugly suburb of Chicago called Skokie, Illinois, full of ticky-tacky little houses from the 50s and strip malls. And I hightailed it out of there to New England for college because I love New England, the architecture, the town setups with the town squares and the history. So the subject matter of this Community Preservation Act is really interesting to me. So that's why I wanted to volunteer.
Thank you. Move on in order, Kristen.
Thank you, Carlo. Thank you, Eleanor. I guess what is your philosophy on the CPA? Are you for it, against it? And if you are for it, what percentage-ish would you be looking for?
I have an open mind on that. I mean, I would need to do research on it. I love the things that it can fund, the open spaces, the historical preservation, the housing. But I don't think anything is a slam dunk until we do research and see if it's a fit for Reading. And I would want to, I'm very adept at researching. I work complex technical content in a software company, and I work with subject matter experts. So I'm good at researching, taking in feedback. I'd want to take the pulse of the community and weigh it against other priorities that the town has.
Any questions?
Yeah, well, so I don't think you meant, were you asking her if she's gonna vote for it? Because we definitely didn't wanna ask you that. And that makes a lot of sense that you don't have to make that decision now. We're advised to have this working study group to be kind of a publicity. This is an initiative that the select board would like to pursue per our previous discussions and having consultants come in. So what we need are volunteers who are willing to dig in and come up with a solution that would work for the community. So that really is the goal of the committee. But the good news is lots of other communities, including Winchester, and they're admitting and writing in the newspapers that, this kind of writes itself and it's been done a lot of times before. So hopefully it won't take too much time, but we appreciate you stepping up.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. I just appreciate it. I probably should have mentioned there's 3 applicants and we're selecting one, which I don't want, if the other 2 don't get chosen, I don't want that to dissuade any from volunteering for other boards and committees. But It makes our job tougher when we have more than one applicant for one
Sure.
spot. But thank you for, putting your name in the hat, and I don't really have much because you answered it already.
So thanks for volunteering. I noted you talked about the CPA committee, the climate advisory committee, and the historic district commission. Just wondering kind of how, are those 3 areas of interest to you? Kind of where do they come from? Great that you want to volunteer.
Yeah.
I'm wondering why you chose those 3.
Okay, which ones did I choose again? This one, the
So it's
climate.
community preservation, climate advisory, and historic district.
Okay, well, I already touched on how I love the history of New England. I'm like that mom who brings her kid to every historical house we drive by. I'm like, ooh, look. So, I love that too, and that's why I applied for the community preservation. And then for the climate, I've always been interested in environmental issues. I've been a long-time volunteer, like since I was a teenager, on animal welfare issues, which I think ties in to the climate. So I've done everything from dog walking to lobbying at the state, local, and federal level for animal welfare bills. So I think all these interests tie in.
And just one other thing, so I very much appreciate your mentioning, and I think it's really important for this role, as well as for others, to be very open-minded and to be willing to explore, understand what's going on.
Yeah.
Everything has a cost and everything has a benefit.
Yes.
And just want to make sure that we understand what those are so we can present them to the community.
Yes, exactly. Would this volunteer position involve any outreach to the community, like sharing the findings?
So I assume it's going to report back to the select board directly, and then that would kind of be the main communications mechanism outward from there, absolutely.
Okay. Well, I love that. I mean, I would love to, get whatever community feedback is possible, and I'm a good communicator, writer. I can synthesize a lot of information and research it first so that I can synthesize it in a good way. Not to pitch myself, but that's what I'm here to do, so.
Thank you. Melissa?
No, I don't have any questions for you. I do appreciate you mentioning, the pulse of the community with all the other big projects we have going on currently. So, but again, thank you for volunteering. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Thank you. Next, we have Sanford. Sanford here? Oh, great.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I go by Sandy. Unlike your prior applicant, I've been around for a while. I might say that I don't have the fresh energy that she does, but I come with a lot of history in Reading. We've been here for, 35, 40 years or so. Raised a family here, built a house here. I was pretty busy with a career in Boston. And didn't quite have the time that I now have to do other things. So I'd love to contribute some of my experience and my time to this particular cause. I think I'm coming to the subject matter with a leg up on a lot of the different interests that play into this topic. And I'm aware of the history back 20 or so years ago where it was a very close vote, didn't go in favor of adoption. And I think this time around that hopefully the process will give rise to a good reconsideration of whether or not this town wants to bring this tool into its kit and employ it in ways that have a very rich mix of possibilities as well as challenges, I might add, because every community that I know of that's adopted this, there's a lot of infighting among whether my white hat, if you will, is whiter than your white hat, because all the ideas that kind of spring up under CPA are good ideas, and they have to compete on their merits with other ideas. So were it to be adopted, that's the way I kind of see it playing out.
Thank you. I'll start in this direction, Melissa.
I think I have.
Congratulations.
Oh, thank you, I appreciate that. I don't think I have any questions for you, but I appreciate you volunteering. We need volunteers in this town desperately, so thank you, I appreciate it.
I think, In your note to us, you mentioned that you participated in hundreds of Massachusetts projects involving affordable housing, recreation facilities, historic preservation, and land conservation, which are basically the CPA categories. Can you talk a little bit about just kind of some of the different kinds of things you've seen?
Sure. Many of these go back a number of years, so one that I can think of was I happened to be doing some volunteer work representing the Thoreau scholars, so-called, who were trying to preserve the deep cut woods in Concord across Route 2 from Walden Pond. And the town was interested in putting some artificial turf recreational fields in that woodland. And so it was a fight, if you will, locally between historic interests and recreational interests in that particular project. And it was a town meeting vote under CPA. And the fields are there today and the woods are gone, but it was an interesting and very challenging competition, if you will, between different interests that are both protected under this particular law. And all the constituencies that kind of came to bear on that particular dialogue and vote. So it's one.
Okay, so you've been in the mix on different kinds of projects.
It's one, yeah. I could go on for a long time. But
No, that's all right. Thank you, I appreciate it. To me, I think that part of what we're trying to understand is what do you get out of this thing? And you don't even need to answer that.
Yeah, I mean,
That's
a
what's
lot
really
of this is
important.
playing forward a couple of steps. I mean, the first step here is I think the charter for this study committee is how you might go about putting this in front of the voters, and that's a pretty rigorous procedure, particularly in view of the timeline that you've set out. There's several steps that really kind of need to be almost rushed through in order to get to the state election ballot.
Yeah, we are being a little aggressive, so we'll have to see how that plays out. But Mark, that was a great question, and thank you. It seems like you've been in the weeds, pardon the pun, for a while with various outdoor space and other interests. So you have your brief statement here of what you've done. We've spoken on the phone. So I think the same thing as I said before. If you're not chosen, please apply to a different committee that you have interest in. Sounds like conservation would be a great one for you. I'm just throwing that out there. I have no idea, but that's all I have. Karen?
Okay. Yeah, I would totally add town forest, trails. Yeah. But thank you. I see this as I do see this as outreach to the community. We've had a couple consultants come in, we've had a couple of presentations, we've made steps as to what this could mean to our community, what kind of projects might we be able to go forward with. But certainly we as a board don't have the bandwidth to really dig in and, as you said, really kind of come up with something that we could present to the community and lay out steps to get there, whether it is aligning with the state election or having a special election. So I appreciate you stepping up, and if that's of interest to you, this is a nice opportunity. And I think it's gonna be a good group too. So anyway, thank you for volunteering, and yes, there are definitely other areas where I could see your talents fitting in. Thank you.
Chris? Thanks, Colin. Yeah, pretty much same question to you. Do you believe in CPA, for it, against it, and at what percentage? It already seems like you are for it because you were a decade ago, but I could be mistaken.
Was I for it a decade ago?
No, you had mentioned the previous vote on CPA that had failed. Were you for it back then or against it back then, or?
Yeah, I would say that 20 plus years ago, I thought it was a good idea. My experience over the course of that time, I think I'm more thoughtful about all the interests that are in play. I've kind of seen a lot of different sides of that come to interplay here. I think, to answer your question, the front end of this process is really designed to get all the interest groups that have an opinion, an agenda, a position, a perspective into play. And I see that all coming out in another vote. And if that goes one way or the other, I'm fine with either way it goes. The reason I'm stepping in or putting my hat in the ring to step in at this round is to see that that process runs its course to whatever end it runs its to whatever end. So.
Yeah, to your point, it seems, the reason for me asking the question is not to be like, I'm stacking the deck 5 versus 2 or whatever scenario. It's more of, if it is an echo chamber, it is going to fail, one direction or the other, is my opinion. And if you can flip someone like me that is against it, I love what it can do, but not right now. If you can flip someone against me, flip me to be for it from the results from this committee, then you're gonna get what you want. And I'm just one person.
My answer to that is in the process. Whatever, I think if it's a robust process, and everyone is engaged, everyone who has an interest in it is engaged in it, that the result will stand on the merits. And I would hope that it goes to the ballot, and I think it's going to be a close call, to tell you the truth, based on history and based on what I kind of sense in terms of the politics, and I'd very much like to be part of that process. I'm not weighing in to one end or the other. I'd like to be a participant in the process and make sure that process is as good as anybody could think it could be.
Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
All set?
Yep, thanks so much. Bob?
Hi, Bob Whiten. I'm a 19-year Reading resident. Very active in the community. Some of you may know me, others may not know me. I'm on the Recreation Committee. Karen was just at our meeting a little while ago. Thank you for coming. Thank you for joining. I was past president of Reading Little League. I'm still involved with Little League. I have a very strong, interest in, recreation, youth sports, youth activities. I'm also on the Reading Youth Football Board. That's where my interest lies, is, trying to, make this a better place and, more opportunities for kids to, succeed in physical activities, whether it be organized sports, non-organized sports. That's where my interest lies, and that's why I'm, that's why I want to, hopefully, join this committee and, lend my input.
Thank you. I'll start with this end. Chris, please.
Same question, Bob. Are you for or against CPA? And if you are for it, what percentage are you kind of looking at?
At this point, and knowing what it could potentially do, I'd say I'm like 75-25 for it. I saw that, there's, recreation, what the money can be spent on, recreation, open space. I think those, that's a big opportunity for this town to, field space is a humongous problem. And, if this can solve that, then I am on board with that. Obviously, there are other factors that have to go into it. That's where the 25% comes into play, but I am more for it at this point than I am against it. And again, in my, being involved in Little League, what I found is that if you go to the community with something, they're going to support it. And if you want to get buy-in from the community, I feel I am a strong candidate for this position to help you get that buy-in. You might get people that may not be for it, that, if they see that it's going to, improve, field conditions, field, opportunities, there's multiple sports that need field space in this town. And I feel I can help you, if the goal of this committee is for the betterment of the town, then like I said, I feel like I'm a very strong candidate for that.
Thanks.
Karen?
Thank you. No, you answered my questions. Thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you for stepping out.
Thank you. appreciate it.
Yeah, that was kind of my interest in thanking these guys for letting me be in this committee because, you know, we're called Taxachusetts for a reason. And, you know, but this has a lot of benefits to it. So, you know, I want to be part of this process. I look forward to it. My knee-jerk reaction was no. No more taxes, not no to the CPA. But given that it's not a huge amount, but you know, we have a lot going on, and I think your answer was honest, and you know, I think everyone that's already spoken said that they want to listen and they want to contribute and they want to go through the process, and I think that's what we'll do as a committee with assistance and guidance that we may need ourselves, because it is going to go to a townwide vote, which is, you know, crucial. So that's what I have. Thank you, Mark.
Thanks, Carl. Love your enthusiasm. Love the discussion of rec.
Thank you.
Can you find some space to think about affordable housing as well and community preservation inside of it?
I am open to anything and everything. Obviously that's another facet of it that, you know, that could be beneficial to the town. Yeah, I like to think that I'm a critical thinker, an open-minded thinker. You know, I don't like to be in that box. You know, put me outside of that box, and I absolutely, you know, am willing to come up with creative opportunities to meet those needs as well. I am not closed-minded at all.
Awesome. And I think you brought it up also, if the decision is to take it forward to the townwide vote, it needs support of the
Yes.
of the town. So obviously
Absolutely.
not just connections, but the ability to
Yes.
talk to people about what it can do would be an important part.
I feel I bring that to the table. You know, you want to get community buy-in. You need the community to buy in, so.
And there it is. Thank you. Well put.
Melissa?
I don't have any questions for you, Bob, but I just wanna say thank you for volunteering and volunteering for everything else you've done.
Well, thank you, and thank you guys, thank all of you as well. You know, this is not an easy job, not an easy task that, you know, you guys are, you know, have to do. Thank you as well.
It's not fun saying no to people that want to volunteer, that's for sure. None of us,
Absolutely.
none of us like that. So I just want to end it, thank you. I just want to mention that, not that, you know, I'm a member of this committee, but I'm going to encourage, I want to try to get a meeting next week to organize. And then, given all our different schedules, try to set a schedule up for us that we can meet on a regular basis. And I think we need to hit the ground running and meet, this is just my opinion, you know, every 2 to 3 weeks in the beginning before summer hits, and just kind of start coalescing and see who we want to invite and, you know, participate. All these are all open public meetings, but, you know, have historic come, have recreation come, have affordable housing, you know, conservation. So I just want to put that out there to you three, that my intention is to have our first meeting next week, organize, select a chair and a vice chair, and then go over our schedules and see what the best time to meet that as many of us can attend. We may not be able to attend all the meetings, and I can't tell you now how many they're gonna be, but we kind of have a deadline to get this on an election, and it's pretty tight, so I don't wanna rush this, but if we need more time, we're gonna need more time. So I just wanna put that out to you three. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess one other question, when will you guys be voting on this?
Right now.
Right now? Okay, awesome, excellent. Let's get to
Stay
it.
tuned, stay tuned. Yeah, this is the fun part of, go ahead,
Just
yeah.
a quick question, so do we have a recreation committee member on the
We do.
CPA already?
We do. So Bob is also on recreation.
Yes, I know.
Correct,
Yeah, I was just curious.
Yep.
I figured you had another member.
Yep.
Okay.
So I'll kick it off. This is very, I don't want to see, yeah, it's not fun. It's not fun. I've been on VASC several times, and when you get multiple applicants, then we always encourage, you don't get this one, apply for something else. I know several of you, aside from Bob, who's on a committee right now, expressed interest in other committees. So, I right now, I guess we'll take a pulse, I guess maybe first, is that? I mean, I don't know, I don't wanna go back to a vote, maybe take a pulse, and right now I'm leaning towards Eleanor, and I'll leave it there. And Mark?
So I think All great candidates, thank you. I think we have kind of a more analytical point of view, a more kind of process and experience point of view, and a more kind of enthusiastic, dig in point of view between the three candidates. So I'd love all three, but we can only have one. So my gut, actually, I'm leaning towards Sandy as the voice of the process, getting it done, seeing the different things that can happen, and bringing forward. This part of the process really is kind of figuring out, hey, what do we bring to the community? How do we share all this information? How do we let them know what this is so that if it goes to a vote, they know they have full information and ready to go. I think Sandy would do that.
Thank you. Well said. Karen? I'm not voting, just comments.
I love,
Yeah, well, you know.
yeah, no, three great candidates. I love Bob Slade. How did you describe his,
The
dig
bump-
in and get going?
The bumper sticker, what's his bumper sticker gonna
What's
say?
Bob's bumper sticker?
Yeah, enthusiasm and
Buy-in, the buy-in thing.
yeah, that was, those were Bob's words. Yeah.
Right.
Community, buy-in.
Yeah, buy-in,
I like
buy-in,
I
right.
like those words,
You selling it?
kinda leaning towards Bob, yeah, and they're all great candidates, sorry.
All right, Chris? You can get a hat too, you can get a hat. It's a tough choice, tough choice.
I mean, every decision I make, I will explain my thought process. We already have a rec member, so I would kind of lean towards not Bob, unfortunately, sorry, Bob. Between Sandy and Eleanor, I know Eleanor applied for the town manager screening thing back in the day. I think she did pretty good back then. I think her interview now was good as well. I would hate to say no to her again on something. I think Sandy gave a pretty not a well thought out answer to the questions that I had posed, but I think I would be leaning towards Sandy as my person.
This is gonna be fun. Melissa?
Super fun.
Three great candidates, and again, I thank you all for volunteering. Bob, I'm sorry, I think because we have a rec committee member, although the buy-in thing would be great, if you could switch me, I feel like you could flip anyone in this town. Eleanor, I really loved Eleanor's approach of getting the pulse of the community, because I think this is gonna be really important with all the other things that we have on deck for debt exclusion, so I really appreciate Eleanor mentioning that. Sandy, I think you have a ton of experience in this general area too, so I do like that you would do well in getting the process started appropriately and, getting that information out to the members of the community. At this point, I think I'm leaning towards Eleanor.
Okay, Matt, you're next. Just kidding.
I don't get a vote.
I know, that would help us a lot.
We need a sixth member.
It
Who
would-
knew,
It would
who knew
help-
this would be such a problem?
It would help us a lot, yeah, so,
It's like 2-2-1.
yeah, we have not an issue, we'll get through this. So currently we have pulsing, not voting, 2 for Eleanor, 2 for Sandy, and 1 for Bob. So based on comments, Karen, do you,
I would, Sandy's a great candidate, I would be happy to join the consensus.
okay, so I think we should take a vote.
Okay.
I don't wanna vote on all 3, we should just,
Start with the, I think we'll get through the votes.
yeah. Okay, do we have a motion? We have a motion, right? No, not,
We do, but I guess.
that's to approve, right? The motion is to approve.
No, it's moved to appoint
Move to appoint,
XYZ
yeah.
to CBA.
Yeah. But we need a name.
Correct.
Well, if it doesn't get enough to pass, then we just keep going.
Right,
so.
keep going. All right, so I will start with, so we have 3 Sandy, 2 Eleanor, am I correct? I don't want to misstate anything.
Pulse.
Yeah.
Pulse, right? Okay, so we'll start with Sandy, I know it says Sanford, we'll start with Sandy. All those in favor?
Do you have the motion first?
Oh, sorry, well, okay, sorry, yes.
Move to appoint Sanford. Malathi. What Mark said, to the CPA study committee.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? No, all those in favor? 3, all those opposed? 2, all right. That's it.
Great,
Welcome.
congratulations.
Congratulations. And thank you to everybody who came in.
You'll be getting an email. Thank you, thank you. Thank you to all of you that applied and
Yes, I agree.
please don't
You were all
stop.
great candidates.
Please don't stop, please don't stop. Thank you.
Community?
Bye.
Fine, yeah, remember that.
Bob, they still might
Emergency
need
meeting,
We're gonna
thank
have a
you.
cheering team.
All right, next on the agenda, we have EMS, Emergency Medical Services Week Proclamation. And I don't know if Chief Burns is gonna say anything or we're gonna,
If you'd like me to, I can.
yeah, sure, briefly, that'd be
We
great.
have the on-duty group.
Yeah, that'd be great, bring him in.
Good to see you.
Good to see you. Thanks for having us here tonight.
Come, are you gonna fit? How many, you are coming, look at. This is everybody who's on tonight, okay.
So, thanks for having us tonight. It's EMS week, and Reading has a very strong EMS system, and we have a long history of providing EMS. It began in the early 1970s, and that was when they staffed the Cadillac ambulance with very little training. The first training was with Winchester Hospital, the ER physicians and nurses gave them training, and then they got formal EMT training. And it was like that up until 2003 when we moved to the advanced life support level. Captain Mayette is one of the founding members of our paramedic program. That allowed us to give all kinds of medications and treat with more sophisticated treatment techniques. And then we've continued to expand that out. So now every fire truck we have is a registered ambulance. It's a class 5 ambulance. Our newest apparatus have refrigerators on it to carry medications, so they are stored properly, so they have their best efficacy. So it's really a robust system now. If our ambulance is out, we have a fire truck, we have ALS local care because all our people are paramedics. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that does such a great job today. You know, just kind of, and Tidio Vargas is one of our newest people. Bill Madden, he's been with us for a while. Lindsay Gartner. We have Lieutenant Beneri. Jim Kelly joined us recently. We stole him from Belmont. Max Madden is in the back. We have Lieutenant Dole. And we have firefighter Demacogno. It's his birthday tonight, but we won't say anything.
Too late.
And we have Captain Mayette and Assistant Chief Rick Nelson. So thanks for having us here tonight. Appreciate it. It's a nice opportunity to recognize them for they're providing EMS really high level of care every day, 24/7. So thanks for having us.
No, thank you.
Yeah, thank you guys.
And going from presentations past, aren't we one of the leaders in this area as far as what we can provide for service?
We are, like, on our border, there's 2 communities that are at the advanced life support level, Linfield and North Reading. The other communities aren't, but nobody around us puts ALS equipment on the engines and ladder trucks. We started putting it on our ladder truck first, and then we went to our west side engine, and now it's a downtown engine as well. So every truck that's in service is carrying a 12-lead defibrillator monitor and a host of medications and a highly trained paramedic, which is
Right,
the
you
most
need that,
important
right.
piece, right? But we wanted to make sure that when we arrived on scene with a trained person, that we gave them the tools.
Right.
And you know, it's all about life safety, and it's been very effective. It's when somebody has a heart attack, the seconds count, and you can't always bring them back, but each year we bring people back because of this level of care. So it's really significant. And people who are who've had a significant trauma or stroke, they're able to get very high quality care right away. And in many cases, it's the same level of care that they first get at the ER. So they get stabilized and then another treatment. So it's quite a system. So
No, that's excellent. If you want to have an episode, have it in Reading.
it's going to happen.
I hope I never meet you guys, but thank you for all you do.
Yeah. I think Chris has something to.
I think you stole that from me last time, by the way, too.
What?
If you have an episode of Have It in Reading.
Sorry.
No, I'd just like to say as well, I've unfortunately met a couple of them a couple of times. You never want to be meeting EMS people, but everything turned out the way that it was supposed to. So I appreciate all their hard work. And then also, my daughter had won the fire truck raffle last week, so it was good for her to get the ride along with you, Chief, and Assistant Chief over there. But no, just thank you. And anything happens, you want to be in Reading. So, thank you.
There's clearly a couple ride-alongs because my son and daughter got to ride along too last week.
Almost a quorum. All right, so the proclamation for EMS Week, whereas emergency medical services is a vital public service, and whereas the members of emergency medical services teams are ready to provide life-saving care to those in need 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and whereas access to quality emergency care dramatically improves the survival and recovery rate of those who experience sudden illness or injury, and whereas emergency medical services has grown to fill the gap, providing important out-of-hospital care, including preventative maintenance, follow-up care, and access to telemedicine, and whereas the emergency medical services system consists of first responders, emergency medical technicians, paramedics, emergency medical dispatchers, firefighters, police officers, educators, administrators, pre-hospital nurses, emergency nurses, emergency physicians, trained members of the public and other hospital medical care providers, and whereas the members of emergency medical service teams, whether care or volunteer, engage in thousands of hours of specialized training and continuing education to enhance their life-saving skills, and whereas it is appropriate to recognize the value and the accomplishments of emergency medical service providers by designating the Emergency Medical Services Week. Now, therefore, we, the Select Board of the Town of Reading, Massachusetts, do hereby proclaim May 19th through the 25th, 2024 as Emergency Medical Services Week, the Select Board of Reading.
Thank you, Chris. All right. Thank you. We'll be signing this, and thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Is there a motion that goes with it, or just a proclamation?
That is it, just the
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thanks, folks.
Thank you, guys.
Be safe.
All right, as we're getting that signed, we have a Pride Month resolution. June is Pride Month. And that's all it says on the agenda. I know we have a resolution to read, and we've done this for several years now. And at least the third year.
Was 2020 the first year?
No, that was hard COVID. It's in the next year.
Yeah.
But, yeah, so we'd like to.
Third or fourth year.
As a board and, as a community, recognize June as Pride Month, and Chris has another proclamation to read. Resolution.
Yep, Reading Select Board, a resolution for Pride Month, whereas the Reading Select Board believes the inherent dignity of everyone who helps to form our community, whereas Pride Month commemorates the Stonewall Uprising of June 1969 and elevates the pursuit of equal justice and opportunity for LGBTQ plus Americans, and whereas the Reading Select Board values diversity, equity, and inclusion, is committed to equal rights and opportunities for Reading's LGBTQ plus residents, and is designated to fostering the acceptance of all members of the Reading community, and whereas the Reading Select Board recognizes the important contributions of its LGBTQ plus residents to the town's history, culture, economy, and civic life, and whereas it is imperative that residents of all sexual orientations and gender identities and expressions feel valued, safe, empowered, and supported by their peers, educators, and community leaders, and whereas we affirm our support for our LGBTQ plus residents and stand with them to protect their civil rights and ability to live openly without fear. Now therefore be it resolved that we, the Reading Select Board, do hereby resolve that June 2024 be recognized as Pride Month in the town of Reading, and urge members of the Reading community to recognize the contributions made by members of the LGBTQ plus community and the importance of this month. The Select Board of Reading.
Thank you, Chris.
All right, bring on June.
All right, as we're signing that, I think we have a presentation on the Killam School Building Project. And it's gonna be a slideshow,
Yes,
So-
I'm gonna be projecting.
and you're gonna share with Caitlin, Caitlin has it.
I'm gonna share.
Okay,
Oh, she just needs to give me permission to share my screen.
Caitlin?
There we go. I got it. Thank you. Great, so my name is, shall I go ahead?
Yep.
My name is Jenny Kariamaki. I am an architect and the project manager for the Killam School building project at LaValle Brensinger Architects. We're the designer that's been hired by the town. And I am here and to give you an update on what we have been doing since we started work in January, and I've been working closely with Carla, Susanna, Matt, Karen, Jane, and have had a great experience working with the town so far, and really, commend the town on a number of decisions that were made before we joined that have set us up for success, and just generally, it's been a really great group to work with. So, I'm gonna kind of take you through the whole thing, because I know you have some new members, and just maybe some of this is covering territory that you all know, so bear with me, but hopefully it'll get everyone on the same page. So first I want to explain a little bit about how the whole project process works. So the town of Reading is partnered with the Massachusetts State Building Authority, which is a state agency that funds school construction throughout the state through one penny of our sales tax. The Killam School Building Committee represents the town's interests in this process. They are the owner. And the town has hired 2 firms to manage and design the school. So Collier's Project Leaders has been hired as the owner's project manager. Susanna is here representing them. And LaValle Brensinger as the project designer, also known as the architect. So if we kind of scoot down that chart, these are some of the folks who are working on the project from Collier's Project Leaders. Susanna and Mike Carroll are the people who are most involved, and then at LaValle Brensinger, myself and Lee Sherwood, the principal in charge, are your main contacts. And we also have this huge, see all these people down below? We have a huge team of sub-consultants, engineers, geotechnical engineers, and code specialists, and all kinds of folks who are contributing their individual expertise throughout the process where we need them. So this is kind of a chart from the MSBA. Sorry, it's a little small and hard to read. But the MSBA requires that all communities that participate in its process and its funding go through a very clear and rigorous process. And the advantage of that is that by the time that communities get to the construction phase, have a very well thought out project. You've kind of been forced to go through all of these considerations so that you know that this is really the best investment for your town. So in June 2021, the town submitted a statement of interest. That's when you first kind of put your hat in the ring and say, we have a project we want to do and get funded. They were in the eligibility period, and then in March 2022, the MSBA invited the town, said, yes, we're gonna fund your project. You can now come into the MSBA project pipeline. It was a huge deal for the town because it means that you're gonna get a lot of funding money from the state. The next step was forming the project team, which meant hiring Colliers, the OPM, and Lavelle and my firm. And that was completed in December. And in January, we started the feasibility study phase. So here is another also hard to read diagram. Apologies for that. So this is just a project schedule at a very high level to kind of show you how we expect, based on certain assumptions, kind of how we expect the project process to go. So we've just completed our first submittal to the MSBA, actually yesterday, which was an interim submittal in the feasibility study phase. In August, we'll be doing our final submittal of the feasibility study phase, and then going on to schematic design. So in schematic design is where we start to develop the design of the project, and at the end of that phase, we'll have your budget number, which will then go to a town vote in June 2025. If the vote passes, then we will continue the design process through summer of bidding and summer of 2026. And then assuming certain things about it being a relatively straightforward construction with limited phases and new construction, we don't need to get into the nitty-gritty, but given certain assumptions, we think that the building construction can be completed in 2 years for a fall 2028 move-in. And then there would be another year approximately of site construction, because then the old building has to be demolished and the site work completed. So fall 2028 move-in, I think that's the key number, the key date that everyone wants to know. So that was kind of the project introduction, and now I'll give you like a update on the tasks that we have completed. So we started out by establishing a set of project and community goals. For this project, those are that we want to create a new school that is built around the student, that's community centered, that engages in responsible sustainability, it's safe and healthy, and creates a sense of belonging. And these goals will guide us throughout the process. We will use these to create evaluation criteria that will help us to decide which of these options that we're considering is the one that aligns with the values and the goals of the town and the school. And we arrived at those goals through a series of public meetings, both with school staff and with the broader community, where we, really took the pulse and people brainstormed and people voted to figure out what are the real priorities of this community. So we've had, so far we've had 5 public community meetings. The first was on the project charter, then we had one about sustainability goals. We had 2 meetings about traffic, because we know that's a really important issue for the community. And we had 1 meeting about the preliminary design alternatives, which I will show you in a minute. And we're going to continue having more community meetings throughout the design process. We conducted an educational visioning process, which included taking an educational visioning working group on tours of some newly completed schools in Massachusetts, so that we can understand and see what new schools look like these days, because they are quite different than the Killam School, which was built in 1968. And then we had a series of workshops to better develop and understand a vision of how teaching and learning is going to happen in this new space. And then from that understanding, then we developed a space program, which is a list of all the spaces that will be in the new school, and an adjacency diagram, which is this crazy diagram you see here, which is how should those spaces be related to one another. So we want to understand that first before we start to design the building, so that we have those that educational piece is at the heart of the process. We are looking at 2 different enrollment options. So one option, option 2 here on the right, is that there are currently 2 RISE classrooms. So the option 2 is that we would have 4 RISE classrooms. That's just accommodating for some natural growth in the program. And then option 1 would be bringing all of the RISE pre-K classrooms from across the whole district together in one location at the new Killam School. That would be 12 RISE classrooms and a student population of 635. Option 2 with the fewer classrooms is a student population of 515, and the current enrollment is 453. So the school building committee continues to look at the impacts of those options and the costs and the benefits as we continue in the process. We also did a very thorough evaluation of the existing building conditions and the site conditions. So we looked at the building together with our engineers and evaluated its state, which is required by the MSBA, so that we can get understand what it would take if we to renovate the building. Again, this is required by the MSBA. I'll just say that. And the building, in summary, it is much too small for your program. It lacks spaces for special education and other spaces. The gym is half the size that it should be. The program spaces are very much undersized. The building systems are at the end of their life. The building envelope has actually no insulation in the exterior walls. It's very energy inefficient. The windows are aged, they're original, many of them are original to the building. And the structure would also need to be upgraded to meet current seismic requirements. We did a similar study of the site. On the environmental, we've not identified any concerns to date. There's still some more testing to be done to finalize that finding. On the geotechnical side, we did find some unsuitable soils that will need to be removed. And the biggest concern probably on the site is that it seems big because there's this big field, but it very quickly, when we look at the construction phase, we're going to build a new school on that field, and it's very quickly going to become a very constrained site. So the logistics of having enough space for construction, we're looking at geothermal wells as an option, but those require a lot of site area. So the constrained site is one of our challenges. And we completed a full survey, we completed a geotechnical investigation. We also completed a very detailed traffic survey where our consultants, GPI, completed a traffic analysis where they did observations of the situation at arrival and dismissal. And this was, they did this during like one of the coldest weeks in January, which was really great because that's when the most kids are driven to school. So you get to kind of observe the worst traffic conditions and kind of how the queuing works and all the problems that occur there at arrival and dismissal. They also did a speed study on Haverhill Street and looked at the crash history based on state information that's available. And we developed a set of recommendations both for upgrades that can be made beyond the school site and an approach to dealing with traffic on the school site that will be a vast improvement from the current situation. On sustainability, we established a set of goals around sustainability in 5 categories: indoor environmental quality, site, energy, water, and materials and resources. We understand that there are a certain set of baseline requirements that we will have to meet. The MSBA has some of their own requirements. They're not so much requirements as much as incentives. They give you additional reimbursement, percentage points of reimbursement for meeting a higher sustainability standard. And Reading is a stretch code community, so we know the stretch energy code is very rigorous and requires a high degree of energy efficiency for new buildings. We're also understanding and considering all the incentives that are available to the project and factoring those into our decision-making process. We have developed actually 10 alternatives. I know that you see 9. We have 9 alternatives. Sorry, it's very confusing because there are 5 on the screen. All of these, so this is A, B, C, D, and E. All but E are actually 2 options because there's the partial pre-K option and the full pre-K option. So we have looked at a number of different options, 2-story options, 3-story options, options that require some demolition of the existing building, options that require no demolition of the existing building, and also an option that looks at renovating and preserving the classroom wing of the existing building. Again, that's an MSBA requirement that we look at the option. And then this is kind of actively where we are at in the process is developing an evaluation of these 9, I think, alternatives based on those 5 goals. We have some criteria established under each goal that will help us evaluate which option will be the preferred option. So the next steps in the process, we're looking ahead to finishing the feasibility phase in the end of August. And between now and then, we will refine our evaluation of these 10 alternatives. We'll continue to develop them, and then at the end of the feasibility study, we'll have a preferred option that we will then take forward into the schematic design phase. Any questions?
I have one. I wasn't aware, shame on me, that we have to have a separate election for this. Is that?
Yeah.
True?
The voters do, doesn't have to be.
Right, no, I know we had to take it to the voters, but I'm seeing June.
It most likely will be in May, and it will be after town meeting, so town meeting will move forward. And then we will discuss with Laura the timeframe that we need after that, so we'll have a special election then, next spring.
That could change. It could change. Did you want to tell us who you are?
Carla Nazaro,
Oh, ready?
Lawrence Road,
Ready?
School Committee, School Building.
Okay, that was, I guess that's a next year
Change.
problem,
Yeah.
problem, but yeah, it's
It's built into our schedule.
yeah, I got it. I knew it was an election, sorry, I'm not that naive. I just didn't know it was gonna be separate.
I didn't know we
Potentially-
decided on June,
potentially
so I think
separate,
it's
so-
a work in progress.
Okay, yeah, okay. That's all I had. I went to your presentation at Killam on the designs.
Oh, okay, great.
Former Killam parent, so look forward to.
Traffic good over there?
Look forward to, I didn't live in that area, but I was a Killam parent.
Oh, I know, but you had to navigate the traffic. You tell us it's been going on for decades, the horrendous traffic. No, all right, you have no scars, okay,
Dropping
good.
off, yeah, dropping off. It was, yeah, go ahead.
So when it comes, I was at the traffic studies. So when it comes to the traffic issues that we have over there, is that on the select board or will that be resolved with the building of the new school and in your project?
So currently, because of the traffic study, we have identified certain issues that the town is already working on. So just so you know that, we're working on certain issues now. The school project will be responsible for the school issues.
And where
I am imagining that there will be some road issues in the area
Yep.
that, the town will want to get on their radar.
Yeah, I think having that meeting and making us aware, we really should try to resolve them, otherwise that could be a loss. Okay, thank you.
Thanks, Carol. So, thank you. The timing here is, cost estimates in August. Is that what we're kind of talking about here?
We will have estimates for different scenarios. They will be not total project costs, they will be construction costs. And the purpose of them, they'll be in ranges, and we will use them to evaluate the different alternatives. So, I know the town is really hammering for lot numbers, right? Because we have so many different priorities between CPA, the senior centers, and different things like that. So, we just want to be really careful that we won't have a number until next spring. But in terms of evaluation of, not total project costs, but of construction costs, just in terms of evaluating against different alternatives.
Got it.
The goal is to help us take us from 9 alternatives
Right.
to one preferred solution.
Got it. And as it relates to traffic and location and different things, depending on sites that may or may not be selected for the Center for Active Living, obviously this is an area where the town is involved in both, the Permanent Building Committee will be involved in both, all the different groups will be involved in both. So there's not a scenario where things are happening and nobody's aware. Very much coordinated, again, depending on the paths that get chosen. That'll get moving, which I think is a bonus with our Permanent Building Committee and their engagement. So, thank you.
And certainly like the traffic study information can be used
Yeah.
for that whole area.
Yeah, and just to follow that, so there are potentially infrastructure needs. If anything is gonna be developed at Simon's Way, there's infrastructure that would be required. And depending on what, maybe that also, certainly traffic studies are helpful, and there's gonna be a bigger discussion at that point.
I think, I think the traffic analysis has been a huge eye opener and a win for the town as for the reasons you mentioned. And yesterday at the senior center, some of the folks asked about, if we're looking at Simon's Way for a Pleasant Street Center and telling us they didn't see the slide that we saw tonight. We're showing the excessive speeds on Haverhill, but they figure like they're well aware of it. So, and Matt has told us that these engineers, which were they were terrific. They've worked for the town before, so I'm really hoping there's some really good synergy, depending which way the Center for Active Living goes. And I'm really glad we've done this deep dive now before that project got far enough to select a site. Also, about costs, and Susanna could confirm, I think part of what the work will be done this summer will also be kind of narrowing the focus on potential reimbursement levels from MSBA. So that feeds into the construction costs.
Chris?
Thanks, Carla. I think we've all been well versed, including Melissa here for the last, however many months this has been going on for. I do think that the traffic scenario has to be resolved sooner rather than later. And I don't think we have control over Haverhill, right? That's the state. But that has always been a racetrack over there. People going 50, 60, whatever that speed thing is up there, they're not even close to that. But yeah, it's good to see. It's unfortunate that it would have to go to a vote after town meeting, whatever that is. But it is what it is. 30 grand is nothing compared to whatever this is gonna be. So, thank you.
I just want to be clear, so town meeting does have to approve it, it doesn't get to the vote until town meeting does, so we have to factor that in as well, just to be clear to everybody. Okay, sorry.
No? Yep. Melissa first.
Just one other quick question.
Can you decipher these symbols for me? I'm sorry.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have put that on there.
No, it's fine, I just didn't know what they meant.
The O is like neutral.
Okay.
The plus is good, the minus is not so good.
Perfect, okay, thank you.
Thanks, John. With the potential additional reimbursement for different types of energy certifications, whatever, do those increases in percentages potentially cover like a big amount of the cost difference or even toward all of it, or how might that work?
So the MSBA provides up to 4% additional reimbursement of reimbursable costs. So it gets to be like a kind of a complicated equation, which Susanna and Mike are working on, because they don't reimburse for everything. There's certain costs that are not reimbursed.
Is
3 to 4%.
Yeah. And is there intent with that 3 to 4% to strongly incentivize, almost equalize the costs of certain advanced, I'll call it advanced energy incentive? How close is it? I'm just trying to figure out, is that like a big deal that we should be saying, yeah, go for it, this is great?
I would say that we will evaluate the impact of incentives as we're evaluating the systems that we select. So you could say very generically that the more efficient a system, this is not 100% true, but generally the most efficient systems are the most costly in terms of first cost. And the least efficient systems are the lowest cost, right? So the 3 to 4% incentive certainly helps, but it's not going to cover the additional cost of, for example, a 100% geothermal project. There is additional incentives from the federal government. The Inflation Reduction Act provides very significant incentives. And I would say that we have to just continue to evaluate them all as we look at a system's cost, its benefits, the incentives. There are so many criteria that we have to evaluate.
So the operating savings is part of that too.
Exactly, operating costs, yes.
When the costs come out also, it will show an MSB, a percentage that they will participate in of reimbursable costs. And then it will show the overall costs. So, people think, 50%. Well, it's 50% of reimbursable costs. So it's not 50% of project costs. Let's just be really clear. So we'll certainly get a lot of benefit from the MSBA, but
So the past couple of years, what has been the average reimbursement on an elementary school?
So the reimbursement varies by community, so there's different rates for different communities. And then the other big kicker is that they only reimburse a certain amount per square foot. And the amount per square foot that they reimburse is much less than the amount per square foot that it costs to build a building. And they've recently readjusted that square foot number in October. So we're in a very good position that we're gonna, be benefiting from that higher number that they elevated. But I think most of that information is available on the MSBA website. I mean, we could
Yeah,
dig into it.
just for some background, the
If you could stand up so that people watching can hear you.
Hi, Susanna Young with Colliers. Just for some background information, the highest reimbursement.
People's Edge, right? There have been numbers since the beginning of the project, right? We had GNAP do a study for us, and those numbers came out 2 years or 3 years ago. And some people will have those numbers in their head. And as we go through this process and when we come up with all of these options, these alternates, they're gonna have numbers associated. And some of these numbers are gonna stick in people's heads. When we get to the final product, because this process takes us through, the MSBA process within Massachusetts is one of the best of its kind out of any state. So we're going through this process, we're gonna get to a point where we're gonna decide, is this for us, right? The voters are gonna decide. There will be a cost there. So, if we throw out a number now and things change, so many things, reimbursable costs from the MSBA change, their per square footage amount changes. So it's hard to talk numbers and I feel the pain of the community. Everybody wants numbers and I totally get that. I want numbers. numbers too. But we have to get through this process.
Yeah, I was asking a historical question, not
Yeah.
our situation. I mean, 80% is not even close, obviously. But historically, has it been 30, 40, 50?
And it's in different communities.
Right.
You know, the numbers I've heard is 30 to 50% of reimbursable costs. And what does that mean?
Right.
I think I heard
We need to
Winchester.
understand what the reimbursable costs are.
I think I heard from Senator Lewis that one of the Winchester schools were reimbursed at 20%. And again, because inflation also kind of hit the schools during that bubble we went through, so it's all over the map.
Yeah,
I haven't heard
no,
anything higher than 50, so I wouldn't never go.
Yeah, we're gonna find out.
80, that sounds great.
All right, no other questions? Chris?
Just not more of a question, but a comment. I guess if we have to be net zero by 2050, and we're looking at the reimbursable costs and everything you mentioned, 3-4% and everything, why is it only 3 to 4%? That doesn't make sense to me. If we have to be net zero by 2050, it seems to me that if I was making the decision, I'd be going towards 80% or something that someone would actually do to actually get to the goal that the state is setting, as opposed to 3 to 4%, which nobody would ever make that bet on anything. At least just going off that blanket number like that. So I just don't know why that didn't get readjusted. They readjusted the other numbers like you mentioned in October, but that stayed the same or something pitiful. 3 to 4% is nothing in any scenario actually. So
It's they did adjust it a little bit, but it is we're mixing programs a little bit. It is like a bonus reimbursement. So there's the standard program, and I think it's on one of these slides. So this 3 to 4% that we're focusing on, that's specifically like a green bonus. And I think the slide is in there that says, how you get there, including designing to the optimized stretch code. So one of the things Colliers found out from us early on is that we, town meeting and the select board, got the stretch code adopted in order to go after green communities. But we would have to take proactive steps to adopt the optimized stretch code, but we do not have to adopt that to design a building to that level. So that was kind of the questions that our OPM went back to the MSBA and clarified for us. Is that do we have to have town meeting voting on another stretch code, or can we just try to get that 3 to 4% bonus reimbursement by designing to that standard? So that's our option. I think that's on one of those slides. It's like it's very messy right now.
You're asking a logical question, unfortunately.
you are,
There's
you
no
are.
logic in the state government.
no, because
Okay.
if anyone here could get a 3 or 4% bonus at work, you'd be like, that's pretty decent. Or you could get 80 and you're like, whoa, I can retire off 80.
Oh, we can't get 80.
But
But I'm
no,
with you on decent. I'm like, yeah.
but we kind of, you have to incentivize people to go this direction and on the surface, I don't see the incentive. And this building is going to be around for at least 50 years. Doesn't make sense. But I think Mark.
So could I ask you folks to clarify? So this bonus incentive would apply to all of the reimbursable costs or all of the eligible costs? So if we locked in at 35%, suddenly it could go as high as 39%. Am I reading that right?
Right,
So it's on everything, so
well, no.
Everything's
It's
covered.
It's on the
everything that's covered, so whatever
Everything
we're
that
getting
we
reimbursed
reimburse
for, whatever
yeah,
percent
exactly.
that is,
Yeah.
it's an additional,
Yes.
potentially up to
Yes.
4% more
Yes.
of everything in that coverage. So it could be millions of dollars conceivably.
It is going
It's millions of dollars.
It's going to be millions of dollars.
It's not trivial,
That's easy,
it's, you may not retire on it, but it's worth it.
To me, it's almost like the cart before the horse, right? We know that this carrot is out here dangling, but we as a community need, if we don't have enough space on the site for geothermal wells, we're not using, you need a certain amount of space for geothermal wells. So so this incentive doesn't matter if we can't get there, right? So we need to determine where we're at and what our capabilities of with all of the different options. And then, to push ourselves to see how we can get there with, with life cycle costs and things like that. So the beauty of this process, it takes us through this whole, it takes us through the process to get there. But we always have all of the reimbursements and all of the incentives in the back of our heads, right? We want to maximize our reimbursement funds.
I wanna wrap this up, so.
Alright, I
This
was
is-
gonna make one comment,
this is-
because I keep getting reminded by the designers that actually you're focusing on the building envelope, which isn't that sexy, but you're gonna be spending a lot of money to make a tight building, which then implies less spending on heating and cooling and less loss and more energy efficiency, so it's not very sexy, but that's kind of what we're all gonna be doing these days, to try to be energy efficient and save operational costs. Okay, I'm done.
All right, thank you, appreciate it.
Thank you.
This is awesome, thank you.
Thanks. All right, next we have a hearing. So, if Chris, could you read the hearing notice, please?
To the inhabitants of the town of Reading, please take notice that the Select Board of the town of Reading will hold a public hearing on May 21st, 2024 at 7 PM in the Select Board Meeting Room, 16 Lowell Street, Reading, Mass, and remotely via Zoom to approve the FY24 non-union classification compensation plans. A copy of the proposed documents regarding this topic will be in the Select Board packet on the website at www.readingma.gov. All interested parties are invited to attend the hearing or may submit their comments in writing or email prior to 4 PM on May 21st, 2024 to town manager at ci.reading.ma.us by order of Matthew A. Cornelis Esquire, town manager.
Thank you, Chris. All right, so this is in our packet. I got a preview when I sat down with Matt to go over the agenda. This is just updating our compensation and classifications that, was not, correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, was not part of the pay and class study that we did, because that was for union.
No, the pay and class study was for non-union,
Non-union,
and
sorry.
since then.
Since
So that
then,
was last
right,
year.
right.
So this is something you do every year based on the budget. All of this is within the parameters of the budget that was just passed by town meeting.
Right.
So it's all funded. There's just some adjustments being made in different positions. And I attached a memo explaining those. Some of those were approved by Fidel when he was here. It's sort of a year-long process. I believe Sharon and Sean are on the Zoom if there's any questions as well. But pretty basic. If you remember last year, because of the pay and class study, there were pages and pages of changes. And those changes still stand. These were just a few in addition. So if there's any specific questions, we're happy to answer them. Otherwise, like I said, it's in line with the budget and what town meeting passed. So.
Thank you. This is a public hearing, so is anyone in the room, I'll go in the room first, want to comment on the classification compensation schedule? Seeing none. Caitlin, anyone on Zoom want to comment?
I don't believe so, no.
All right, so we close the hearing first, right? Right, so Chris is. Yep.
Move to close a hearing regarding the non-union classification and compensation schedules.
Second.
All right, Karen first, any discussion? Seeing none, motion to close the hearing. 5-0, all those in favor, thank you. Anyone have any questions? Yep.
So the public health nurse, is that also the position that's open that the housing authority was saying, hope we fill that
Yes.
soon because we missed that position?
Right, exactly. And so that's sort of merging with the nurse advocate because that public health position was open for some time. It's hard to hire nurses. And then the nurse advocate became vacant. So what we decided to do is combine the two positions, have it a higher salary, and that person will have hours both in the health department and at the senior center. And everybody's in agreement with that, the health director, the senior center people. So we're hoping that's a model that works and we get a really good nurse that will stay for a while, so.
Just a question related to that. So in terms of coverage of that person in the different roles, is the senior center still giving the same nursing coverage?
Yeah, so I believe Fridays will be totally at the senior center and a half day during the week at the senior center. The rest would be with the health department, but that person would be going back and forth. So if there's something that's needed at the senior center, they could go. And I think it makes it more attractive to have a wider scope where somebody's just a health nurse, they're doing clinics and things like that. This allows a lot of advocacy work and outreach, what we need as well. So, and there will also be combining the positions. There will be a savings because some of our positions at the senior center were funded, in part by ARPA, and that'll help going forward. So hopefully we can avoid some cuts there. So that's the thinking.
Thank you.
Anyone else? Okay, I don't have any questions, right, motion please?
Move to approve the FY '24 non-union classification and compensation schedule as presented.
Second.
Mark seconded, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 5-0, thank you.
Thank you.
Next on the agenda, appoint a member to the retirement board. If you guys remember, not including Melissa, we tried to get this done, I don't know, 2 months ago or so. And because we were a board of 4, we were split. So now we're a board of 5, and it's the same 3 people, nothing's changed. And, we need to appoint someone so that board can be full, so. Anyone take a pulse of the board again, or I go who you supported last time? Or-
Could I make a comment?
Yeah, sure.
So, thanks, Matt, for one of the things that Matt sent out to us was the current composition of the board, which
Yes.
is a question that we had to see
Yes,
what's going on.
correct.
And so there, I guess, three of the members are in public safety, but all either current or retired fire.
Correct.
So one of the discussions we were having was kind of, how do we set the board to have kind of broad coverage of the different types of retirees that go through the system. So I was advocating for Amy Lannon because she represents a different groups basically. And still think that, given that composition, I think, that's what I kind of assumed the composition was. So that's why I thought she would be the right person to add
Right.
as the next member. So I guess I'm saying that my gut is that that's still another group of people that won't otherwise be represented at all on that board. I think it's a good idea
Right.
to do that.
Yeah, let's say maybe, 4 of us will go first.
I have a little more info to share, if that's okay.
Info in our agenda or?
Nope, info to the retirement, the composition of the retirees. I reached out to Colleen and she provided some data that the retirees in the system include 100 non-union members, roughly. And the breakdown roughly with men and women was 312 women and 588 men. So was it? Looks like it's 2/3. It looks like it's about, oh wait, what's 312 and 588? That's a round number. It's at 900. It's not quite 50%, it's like short 40%. 40% of the retirement population are women. She confirmed and reminded me that the school teachers are not included, so these are town hall workers, DPW workers, safety workers. So out of that, currently there are 100 retirees that are non-union out of that 900, so I kind of felt that it would be important for them to have some representation on this board.
Okay, Chris?
Thanks, Carlo. The comments that I made last time, I said that I would vote for Amy Lannon if they already had a police officer on the board. Karen hinted at that they did, they didn't, who knows? That's why we're here now. And it turns out they don't. It's 3 firefighters and the town accountant. So what I said then was that I would vote for Richard Bade if that was the case, and that is what I am going with now.
Yeah, I'm along the same line of I wasn't sure as well, and so that became clearer to us more recently, or several months ago after that meeting, and I am gonna support Richard Bade for the retirement board. Melissa?
Yep, with having our town accountant and more union members and more firefighter or retired firefighters on it, I would also support Richard Bade.
Okay,
I have a question.
sure.
May I ask? Is Sharon non-union or union?
She's non-union.
Okay, so there is some non-union representation. And does Sharon, I know she's ex officio, but is she a full acting member of this retirement board?
Yeah, I think she may be on the Zoom, I'm not sure, but yeah, she participates as a board member ex officio because of her role, so.
She's on, yeah.
Do you want me to respond?
You want me to respond?
Oh, yeah, you have some input.
I am a full voting member on the
Thanks.
board.
Okay. Thank you.
All right, so I guess just by coincidence, they went alphabetical here on the screen, so, in our packet, sorry, so, given the pulse, I'll just go in order like we did last time. So, do a motion?
Yep, move to approve Richard Abate to the retirement board with the term beginning immediately and expiring March 31st, 2027.
Second.
Karen seconded. All right, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 4, all those opposed? 1. All right, Richard, if you're watching, congratulations. You're on the retirement board. All right, moving
We
on.
skipped over one agenda item regarding the
I did?
liaison assignments.
Oh, crap, oh, sorry, oops.
So,
Oh, yeah, I did, sorry,
so
oops.
if you wanna go back to that, it's.
Yeah, I think that'd be helpful, sorry, apologize. I know everyone is patiently waiting for that one. I want to apologize first, I did not rank my top 3. Given I've been on the board for 4 years, I haven't moved around too much. Last year I did some moving around to different boards and committees, so, and I'm fine with my selection now, but if anybody wants to, obviously some of these are gone or going away as far as SWEC, recalc will not be last week, we're adding CPA, which I'm on. So I think if anybody, did anybody rank anything, or was I the only one who didn't do anything?
Some did rank.
Oh, good.
Caitlin's on and she's helping with the screen. I know, we heard from
Could you make
Chris.
that bigger, Caitlin, if you can, a little bit, please?
Sure.
We only asked for the top 3 anyway, we each have
Right.
like 15.
No, I know, but the
It's
big
okay.
boards, the big
It's all right.
boards, the big
And
boards.
when I ranked, I wasn't sure if we were readjusting everything or so, I don't know.
We can do whatever we want.
I don't know
We
that
can
my
do whatever we
rankings
want.
even.
Yeah,
So these are just last year's assignments I pulled up, so if we need to adjust some like SWEC's coming off, just let me know. And
right, yeah, SWEC's coming off. And
we can do this however you want.
not recalc yet, but SWEC is done. We're sunsetting, I think, in June, so. Then we'll add CPA to that, which just got fully formed tonight. I don't think we've added, anything else. Killam is on there. So who did anyone's top 3 change, I guess, from last year to this year? Whoever did it.
I don't remember.
I didn't do the ranking, I looked at kind of where I was.
Yeah.
Places that I would like to be considered for.
Yeah, sure.
So the one, I think that there will be a permanent building committee, and once it's formed, a permanent building committee for the project of the recalc project.
Yeah, right.
There'll be, the nominating committee will be bringing on new people, and I would like to be considered to be one of those people to be brought onto that committee. So if that were to happen, that would be a big slug of time.
Big lift, yes,
Yeah.
yes.
So that was kind of one that I wanted to just kind of
Throw out there.
throw out there.
Yeah.
The other one is RCTV,
That you,
would like to
okay,
volunteer for. I think that they need, so Jackie was there. They need a lift. I think that their revenues are declining rapidly. And they need a lift, and I would be willing to dig in a little bit to that. So,
Great.
but other than that, I'm fine with that as they are, or flexible.
all right, so I'm gonna write that down, RCTV and then PBC for recalc. All right, Karen, did you do reshuffling of anything, or are you
I don't remember. Hang on. Who's that, Caitlin?
Want me to pull yours up, Karen?
Sure, if you have it, because I'm searching for it, thank you.
I know it was Killam and RMLD and
Yes, yeah, that would be.
So I thought Killam and RMLD are still pretty important, just to be able to make sure we're working in sync and getting them helping and doing stuff for us and making that deal go down. What was the other one?
finance you put.
Yeah, I'm happy doing that still. But the rest of it, I'm fine, I can move. The Reading Housing Authority I don't mind popping in there occasionally, but yeah, so I'm open.
Chris, any?
Thanks, Carlo. I guess what's absent from this is the charter under the ad hoc thing
yeah,
at the top.
good point.
But this is obviously from last year, whatever.
Yeah,
So
that's true, the
that would
charter
just have to
committee.
get added.
Okay,
And I didn't put that on my ranking, but whatever.
Can we
I
continue
guess.
with that?
I think so. But yeah, no, I sent mine over. It's school committee, public safety and historic.
are those the same or new?
Same.
Same, right.
Yeah, my comment with the school committee, I don't mind supporting them, but if Melissa, if you wanna jump in, Chris goes more to more of the meetings that I can, and I was saying, because I'm regularly talking to a lot of the folks anyway because of the Killam School stuff. We got it covered one way or another.
I'm happy to jump in on school committee.
All right, and just, you mentioned Killam. Killam is not a liaison assignment. That's
Correct, it's
okay.
yeah.
All right, just wanna make sure that.
Sorry, one sec, so, school committee is gonna be who now?
Chris and Melissa.
We usually have two on school committee.
Sorry, thank you.
Yeah,
All right.
thanks.
So I guess,
Oh, and the VASC, well, okay,
well,
we're
yeah,
gonna get to
well,
that
let's
later,
do this
alright.
first, let's do this first. So I mean, not that I'm gonna object to anyone wanting to do something, but I have no, I guess, issues or qualms about anything we've discussed so far. And so I guess because I don't wanna just say insert Melissa's name to Jackie's, but for the big boards, we've kind of done tag teams, so like for me, Board of Health, it was Jackie and myself, so that leaves just me. Economic Development, which we don't really have anything going on, so we talked about this last year, is Karen and Chris, so it's not gonna stay the same, but there's nothing going on. CPDC, very big board to manage, again, Jackie and myself, so it asked someone to step up for those two.
I wouldn't mind stepping up for CPDC.
To tag teams, CPDC. All right, and then, so we have public safety, I just heard, was it Kent? No.
It's Chris.
Chris, and then you're on it as well as a
Yeah,
tag team, I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I can, if someone else has a great desire, I'm fine. I've
Yeah.
been on that, I think, for
Wow.
ever.
yeah, well, I mean,
I'm happy to jump on that.
public safety
Yeah.
from Melissa. All right, did you get that, Caitlin?
Yep, Chris and Melissa for public safety, got it.
Yeah, boot mark. Sorry. And library trustees, again, a big board, that's Karen and myself. I don't mind staying on that one, but I would like someone to jump in. And then we have council on 8.
So Council on Aging, I'd
Yeah.
like to stay on.
Yeah,
I just noticed that the coalition, Jackie had taken my spot on that one.
okay. So we gotta fill that one, unless, yeah.
Yeah,
you
that should be
got-
filled.
All right, so we need someone for coalition,
I can take that.
okay. Caitlin, did you get that?
Yeah, I'm just looking for a coalition on this one,
Second
sorry.
public safety one.
Oh. Okay. Got it?
All right, and so school committee, we have 2. RMLD is Karen, and it'd be good to have someone else on that one. I'm just gonna go through these again. Finance, I heard Mark wanted to stay.
I didn't mention it.
You did mention it, right, okay, so finance committee, another big board, we have Mark and Karen. Karen, what, did you say yes? Yeah, you said yes, so
Isn't it usually the chair of the select board and the second person?
is that how we've done it?
Yeah, that's why Mark's on there. So it's up to you how
I
you
don't
want to
know.
handle it.
I can't remember.
It's usually the chair.
All right, I'll do finance. All right, so Carlo finance with Karen. Ice Arena is Karen and myself. unless someone wants to arm wrestle us, I'd like to stay on that one.
No, look at that, we can,
We have so we need someone for retirement board. That was Jackie position,
I can take that.
all right? Did you get that, Caitlin?
Yep.
All right, and then we have a lot. So RCTV, we have Mark, that was Jackie. Cultural Council, I don't know if they even meet, but they do, but I mean, that came out wrong. Not a heavy lift, I apologize, and
I could take that.
that was Jackie.
Yeah.
What?
I could join.
All right, Mark Doxer for Cultural Council. Thank you, Mark. Climate is Karen, I'm assuming you wanna stay on that,
Sure.
Karen, okay. So that page is done. RMLD, we need someone for RMLD as a backup. I know Karen goes to most of them, but.
and I don't, we go to
Yeah.
what we can go to.
No, right, but I'm saying it's good to have two.
I'm trying to let Melissa know that our policies say we go to as many meetings as possible, it's really not possible, we have this many assignments.
Right. So if does anyone wanna step up to RMLD?
I'll take that.
All right. That's Melissa for RMLD, Caitlin.
Got it.
The Affordable Housing Trust.
You wanna do that?
Yeah, I can take that on if you want me to.
Okay. So we have Council on Aging, we'll keep the same, someone, all we're doing is attaching a name to Board of Health. Board of Health, for me, has been running great. Full disclosure, I posted us for Thursday because that's a public hearing that they haven't had in a while on this cigarette thing.
It's Thursday?
Thursday, that I am 100% against, but that's a side note.
Was that also a Zoom or just a public hearing?
It's in person only.
Okay.
In person only, in this room, I think, right, Caitlin?
7 p.m. in the select board room, yes.
Okay, so again, I've been paying attention to Board of Health, but I think they meet traditionally on Thursdays.
He's meeting that night too,
Once a
so-
month, so again, we'll come back to that one, so I would like someone to be a tag team with me on that one, Economic Development.
I can pick that up with you.
All right, Board of Health, okay, CPDC was Jackie and me, you have Melissa for CPDC?
Yes, I need someone for ZBA.
ZBA, again,
It was
ZBA,
Jackie.
ZBA meets as needed.
Under as needed.
They meet as needed.
Okay, I
ZBA.
can take that on then.
Okay. Again, like Karen said, these are,
Be careful.
yeah, like Karen said,
Some of them you can zoom into still.
yeah, and you can read the minutes or whatever. I mean, we have our lives, we have this.
And they need to know who on the select board
Yes.
they need to reach out
It's-
to, so it's
right.
two ways.
Right.
Makes sense.
I didn't hear anything from Chris. Historic is okay. Conservation, I'm willing to trade, willing to stay. If anybody wants it, I'm fine on that one. Reading Housing is Melissa. Public Safety is now, I'm sorry.
Wait, Reading Housing Authority, I thought Karen was speaking.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yes.
Oh, my fault.
So she's gonna do the affordable housing
Yeah.
trust
Oh, yeah.
under projects and
my,
ad hocs.
my bad. Public Safety is gonna be as is.
Melissa.
Melissa
Chris
and you.
Melissa.
Chris and Melissa, sorry. Chris and Melissa. Coalition is gonna be
Me, Melissa.
Melissa. Current PBC is Mark.
Yep, and then I'd like to be considered
Yeah.
if there is.
Yeah.
When there is a recal
Yeah.
project part of the program.
Top of the
list. Good top of the list. Library trustees, currently is
Fine.
Karen and myself,
Yeah.
fine. Pear, I'm guessing, okay.
I can stay.
All right, cemetery, sorry, Board of Cemetery Trustees, Chris. Trails Committee, was Jackie, so we need to someone step up into that.
I don't mind doing that one.
Okay.
Unless you wanna, it's not that bad.
All right, Karen for Trails
They know where to find me.
and Town Forest,
I can stay with Tom first.
and, okay,
Thanks.
all right. So, do you have any questions, Caitlin, to go over anything, or I think we covered
No,
everything?
I think I'm good.
Okay. All right, so as we know, it was Chris and Jackie on Vask. And then Jackie resigned. And then we had some people who wanted to be interviewed and appointed. So Karen and myself stepped up to fill in that void, and we didn't really interview anybody, unfortunately. We just did some public interviews. So I, between CPA, this, and unfortunately my pickleball schedule, which is, I hate to say that, but it is real. I'm not gonna be available for Vask. So I'm not saying Karen has to stay on, but I need to be replaced. And it's a lot of work in the coming month and a half. So if Karen's willing to stay, we need one person. If Karen wants to opt out, then we need two people.
Yeah, I'm happy to keep on doing it, and we have a bit of a challenge, because the last time we discussed that, we got into a debate as a board as to whether this was a 2-year commitment or a 1-year commitment. I think I figured out why we were having this miscommunication. The select board policies that were printed out and updated in 2019 are in this book, but on the website, they say they were updated in 2012, I think. They're different, like if you specifically go and look at the VASC policy, it's different online. So the good news, this is kind of it's a good committee, because you get to meet people and they get to meet you, but it is a lot of work. We have about, if we do nothing, we interview everyone, we have about 50 people I'm hearing, and that's about 8.5 hours worth of work. Now, whoever's on the VASC, we can talk about whether we can streamline that for this year. And we can also talk about whether we should do a mid-year appointment process, which I kind of think we need to do because otherwise we start getting emails from our boards and committees, and there have been people that submitted applications in November that are still waiting, so. But the way it's written in this binder that Fidel prepared for us is that we have 2 people, and they're appointed for staggered 2-year terms, so that one term shall expire each year. So that actually makes it a little easier for sharing the responsibility and getting select board members in and out of there. So anyway, so we're still putting 2 new members on tonight, so that's fine, but next year, we could have the discussion under our current policies about whether, you know, at that point, somebody could say, sure, I'm good for this year, I'll open it up for somebody else, maybe I'll be on next year, and we stagger it as it says in our policies. And hopefully we could get our policies updated on the web, cause
Yeah, I'll find the original.
sorry, I don't know. I was like, I'm not making stuff up, but it's in the book, it's not
Okay.
online.
Okay, thank you for that. And is anyone willing to
Would you like a
contribute?
copy?
Me, this isn't worth the paper it's printed on,
Why do you say that?
because it's our policy, we can do whatever we want at any time.
But that's the current policy.
Correct. But that's essentially it. Did you print one out for everybody or just me?
No, I didn't know who wanted one, I was running out of time, didn't wanna be late, so I printed one. But we have 2 copies if somebody wants to read it. And would you like to see it? Give it to the new girl. Until she gets her own copy of the book.
Yes, Mark, that's it, yeah, I you know my limitations, I don't wanna overextend myself and be fair and be available, and so, yes, we need 1 new member. We can arm wrestle the 3 of you, or do 1, 2, 3 shoot, or someone could volunteer.
What is the time commitment? I understand that we have, I heard 50.
Looking at like 8.5 hours right now, between now and, these are for terms starting July 1st, so. But we could potentially limit that, there are a few people that might have gotten appointed 6 months ago and there's no competition, so maybe we don't need to interview them again, and Carlo and I discussed briefly, if we have people that are re-upping and there's nobody else interested in their position, then maybe we, unless they're dying to talk to us, maybe we don't invite them in, usually we like to talk to everybody. Cause we can ask them how the board's
Zoom would be
going.
available as an option?
Of course.
But we're already talking
Of
about, I'm
course.
already talking, well, yeah, I'm
Yeah,
talking about
Zoom
Zooming,
is
10-minute
on.
meetings, I'm 50
Zoom.
candidates, I came up with 8.5 hours, it's daunting.
I can do it.
That's great, you guilted
necessarily
me.
Thank you,
Oh
Mark.
yeah, no, I was totally all over Zoom. I was like, the only way we're gonna crank this is by putting them all on Zoom. And we can do it during the day too, if it's on Zoom, I think, 'cause it's easier for people to get to us.
Zoom is great for this, in person is great.
Second guessing it, I'm also willing to jump in and help out, so whatever works.
So everything comes back to the board. We just crank through all of we interview everybody for 10 minutes, we let them ask questions, we ask them questions, and then it all comes back to the board.
So last time Karen's very close to the number from what I was told. There are 46 re-ups, okay? And
Good, that's good.
46 re-ups. As of last week, we have no more than 34 that are considering re-ups. So that means there's 12 people that they're not re-upping,
Okay,
right?
well, we need to
So-
find more volunteers.
Right. So we have 12 people that, and again, it still may be a full board, there could be associates, I don't know. You know, Jackie's working on that. So 27 people, as of last week, said, raise their hand, I wanna continue volunteering. 7, as of last week, she was waiting to hear from. Assuming those 7 say yes, that's 34 out of 46. So some people are saying, no, thank you, you know, I did my time, or they're moving, or whatever. So at a minimum, you're gonna have 34 interviews, a maximum, right now. We hope to get more applications, you know, we should all be reaching out to
6
people.
an hour, 5 hours,
To people, so, so
well, 6 hours.
I know Mark loves talking to people, so unless you guys wanna.
They do it for a living.
Yeah, that's what I mean, it's a compliment, it's a compliment, so if, you know, it's nice for the new people, but, you know, keep in mind, you do have 4 kids, don't forget that. Yeah, you remember.
No one's so mad, could we ask you to,
It is current online, at least the ones that I'm looking at, and there's different dates because different sections were modified at different times.
I went into this today, and I went to the
Okay.
select board page, maybe it's in different places, maybe you get there, if I go to the select board page, it doesn't say what I know it says, and it says here. So I
Okay,
can try to
we can work
recreate it,
out,
talk
but
to
I'm
somebody.
looking at it right now, but that's okay, we can work it out.
So where are we for the 2?
I mean,
I said I would do
you
it.
attribute and Karen.
Tributes, yeah, great.
Done.
All right, thank you.
Oh, so I was just gonna ask, actually, I'm sure you guys were planning to do it already, but if you would help us recruit, if
Yeah, oh, sure, yeah.
Katie and Jane can like put it out that we
Yeah,
need more
yeah,
volunteers,
we're
thank you.
always,
Need
we're
Bob
always
to put it out, too.
volunteers and-
That's Bob, that'd be great.
Out-
Front page,
Thank you.
Our office puts it out, yeah.
Volunteers needed.
Above the fold.
front page.
Yeah, and it's on, you know, a lot of our social media, so
All
yeah,
right.
we can continue.
Because we gotta get this, the results of this on one of those June meetings.
Right now, it's on for June 18th, our last meeting in June, yes.
Can we also get the list of openings that would be reflective of if we know people aren't re-upping? then
Right,
this-
Jackie's working on that.
That's what she's working on.
Yes,
Okay.
yes, so I'll have her
Yeah.
email.
Yeah, it'd be great
us.
to publish that to share.
Right,
Hear all the
yeah,
openings.
3 people from Trails are leaving, we need, you know,
Oh.
whatever, no, I'm just saying, whatever, as an example. All right, I apologize, I went out of order, but we got that done. So now we have our Friends and Family Day, in June at Birch Meadow. We've had a table there the past couple of years, and,
You have to vote, I believe.
Oh, we should take a vote.
do we? Oh, discuss and vote, oh, yeah, sorry,
Vote for the
oops.
subcommittee.
Yep,
Okay.
yep, sorry, my bad. It says it right there. Okay, sorry, Chris, go ahead.
You know, I just, so everything is finalized for the most part,
You can
between
put
all-
as amended, I mean, I don't know what you wanna say, yeah, it's,
So I guess my only 2 comments that I would have is that I think the most, not best time, but the most appreciative time that I had was being on VASC and interviewing the residents. That's why originally we didn't do it, flip-flopped, we've already been over this. I'm eligible to be on it, even though there's probably a loophole because you guys had it for like a week. But I don't think it's fair to do that. So I understand that Mark and Karen wanted to do it, but I would still highly encourage Melissa to potentially advocate for the VASC, but I mean, it's ultimately her decision. Only because I understand you knew, but not really knew. But I think it's a great way to get to know the community and other people that you've probably never even met before. And I'm sure Mark has met everybody by this time.
Yeah.
So I just wanna comment that you and Jackie were on the BAS for almost 2 years. So I haven't been on the BAS since 2020, so Mark hasn't been on since 2 years, so it's not, it doesn't need to be a competition.
I'm not saying that it's a competition, I was just mentioning that I can't be on it, so I'm not even advocating to do
You
it.
could next year, we're gonna stagger it, like, that's our policy, we actually, yeah. If you want to, I was under the impression, because you wanted to be off, that you were done for now, I needed a break.
I've never needed a break from anything. It's just that I was on it for 2 years, same thing as Jackie. So we were both gonzo at that time. It's essentially, we would have voted somebody on like you and Carlo for like a month. And
That's what we did.
well, exactly. So I didn't see the need to stay on for a month. If you guys could have gotten
That's fine.
some stuff.
We just need to get this done.
I get what Chris is saying. I did it my first 2 years as a new board member, with Karen and then with Mark. And I thoroughly enjoyed it. I mean, first one was fully Zoom. Second one was kind of hybrid, I think. So that's what Chris is saying. As far as Melissa being a new select board member, she's gonna be face to face on the screen or in person with 40 to 50 people in a month and a half, where that could take a year to do. So that's all he's saying. It's not a competition. And if Mark wants to acquiesce, he wants to acquiesce, that's up to you two. You've both volunteered. We thank you for that. That's all Chris was saying. As a new member of the board.
Yep.
It is beneficial, he's right, to do it, but we all have different schedules and different commitments.
I'm easy, if you have a strong desire, fine, or do it in a year. I just would caution you that you have a lot on this list. You're gonna,
I mean, I am happy to volunteer, so I would love the opportunity to meet more residents and, meet the volunteers that are coming our way, so if you don't mind, I will take it on.
Done.
Thank you.
All right. Checks in the mail. All right, so that changed, Caitlin.
change back to the way you had it.
Oh, did she type it
I was
in?
confused at who said it at first. All right, Karen and Melissa.
All right.
Thank you.
All right, so do we take a separate vote, or we're voting on the whole kit caboodle?
Well, so this is a subcommittee, so I'm pretty sure we should take a vote. I don't know if the liaisons require a vote, they're like liaisons.
Yeah, I didn't think they did, the liaisons,
The
no, just.
subcommittee
yeah,
requires a vote.
Just to ask, okay.
So just the VAS, not
Yeah, just to ask.
Killam, SWAC, Recalc,
In fact, in our
Affordable Trust.
policies, it says the chair is ultimately responsible for assigning it, we've just done it collaboratively traditionally. So yeah, we just need, do you have a motion to ask?
No, I don't.
Oh, okay, well,
Sorry,
you can
we
make it
just
up.
need motion to appoint Karen and Melissa to the VASC.
Motion to appoint Karen and Melissa to the volunteer assignment subcommittee.
I heard Mark first, Mark second, any discussion? Seeing none, all those in favor? 5-0, thank you for your service. All right, and now, so back to friends and family, I apologize again. And so we've had a booth, it's on a Saturday, if I'm staying corrected, June, I don't know, June what? June 8th, so coming up. I will do my best to attend, but I can't commit to staff, again, because
I'm in the same boat as
of
you.
pickleball lessons, so
I'm working.
if none of us can staff it, then I don't see any sense of having one, unless Matt wants to stand there all day.
No.
Right, and that's not fair, so again, so I know I can't do it potentially, or maybe stop by, what time does it start?
Well,
12 to 3? Something like that?
Yeah, I could look, I thought it was even earlier than that.
Yeah, they have early morning
11?
events.
Anyway, it's a 3 to 4 hour timeframe for,
Just trying to move on.
and we expect no one to be there the whole time. So it's, if anyone knows the schedule for June 8th and they can commit to some time, great.
And we got options. Did you see all the options?
What options?
Ugh, okay, sorry.
Options for a booth or options for what?
Oh, so I spoke to Lorraine Barry and from the Lions. And the reason, thank you, Matt, for putting this on the agenda tonight. If there are options, if we are unable to staff a booth, we can still participate. If we donate $100, we can say sponsored by the select board on the banner, and they're gonna design the banner tomorrow, so it was good for us to discuss it tonight. There's an option to sponsor inflatable axe throwing, which was apparently a huge hit. No one gets hurt, $350. And then there was another option, which was $700. That one was a little more expensive, but so I just explained, I didn't know which other members would be able to staff a booth, so when we talked, I asked if there were other opportunities, so I think it would be nice if the select board sponsors Friends and Family. They're trying to raise money, so it's a contribution, and I would like to be there and go and meet the people. I don't wanna stand at the booth. If I make it there, I'm not gonna have time. I will try to swing by, but I can't staff it.
Be happy to throw in $20, no problem.
So what
Well, I
is,
think we have, the town can do this, the town,
on behalf of
yes,
the select
that's what I'm saying. We got the big guy here, yeah.
He is that.
Does anyone have a desire, I guess, to have a booth and is able to staff it?
I can't commit.
All right, can't commit?
Can I ask?
Yeah.
Thanks, Colin. Are we having, is Andrew gonna have a booth there like he did last year for MBTA communities?
I will have to check with him. I'm not sure. He's been away, so I'll find out.
Because I think that's more advantageous than us having one, is having him
I know
be there.
several departments do have booths. I'm not sure which exact ones, but I'll check when he gets back.
That's my feeling on it, like, the booth that we had, I don't wanna say it was a ghost town, but it was a ghost town last time that we were there. Andrew, on the other hand, was not, so, and he had a lot of materials to pass out and talk and discuss, and it's more, getting the public involved with what's coming as opposed to us.
I
That's
felt the
my
love
only-
walking around and thanking people for doing it, and meeting them and seeing them that way.
So you're saying it's $100 to get our name on?
Yeah,
on
to be a
what- on
sponsor,
what-
oh, a banner, the big banner for the overall event.
Oh, for the overall event?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's a given, for me. As far as the other two options, fake axe throwing, and what's the other one?
Hang on.
Inflatable throwable mini golf.
Oh yeah, mini golf, that was it. Mini golf, 700, it's a little more, it's kind of
750 for
expensive,
mini
so,
golf,
yeah.
inflatable axe 350.
I was like, axe throwing? She's like, oh no, they're all inflatable, nobody gets hurt. I'm like, okay.
And what do we have in our piggy bank?
I'll have to check what's in your line item. I know there's some money in the town manager discretionary fund that we can pay for out of that as well, because that was just, at town meeting, we did the transfer back into that, because we
Yeah.
used a lot of that for the town manager's search, so, yeah. So we can fund whatever you decide.
Does anyone have a preference, other than the big banner, which I think we should do, in my opinion?
I'm fine with that. We could do something more exciting next year if we want.
Right.
We have a heads up on what they'd like to do.
Sumo wrestling?
Yep, sure.
I used to have sumo suits, actually, not anymore. All right, so, Matt, if you could,
Okay, so so the select board wants to sponsor on the banner for $100, that's.
Please.
yeah,
Yeah, okay, we'll take care of that, yep.
can we give more? I think.
It says.
Yeah.
It's that's
But
the price, but I guess
if
if
we
you.
wanna support, I don't know, is that,
If you wanna give more, I guess, any donating,
Six.
I guess over 100, so to
Alright.
any
Well,
group
if we go down there
donating
and eat
over
something, I think that
$100 is
supports it
listed as a
too.
sponsor, so you could
Okay.
give more, but as long as you give 100, you'll be listed as a sponsor, so
Yeah,
whatever
okay.
you- yeah.
that's fine.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Do they have a beer this
I don't think so.
I'm sorry. I had a couple residents ask why the fireworks are not happening on the Friends and Family.
Oh, okay.
They are happening on a separate date this year. I'm not sure why that was the Lions Club's decision,
Okay.
because they sponsor the whole thing, but
Got it.
they are doing them. I think it's a week later or 2
Is
weeks.
it gonna be at the virtual?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. Okay, future agendas, it's on an agenda item, but I mentioned that we're gonna be posted for Thursday night if anybody wants to attend. I'll be a little late, but I plan on attending, so I just wanna make sure we're posted.
Thanks.
Because it is a public hearing and it's whatever they vote on is forever. So that's not really future agenda. We do have to have our next meeting address an open meeting law complaint against the board, so that'll be on June 4th. So I'll work with Matt on what time we wanna put that in. Usually we do OML stuff at the end because of executive session or at the very beginning, so I'll and then that's me for right now. I have one more idea, but if anyone wants to add anything to our, or recommend,
I think what I brought up before.
policy, yeah, of course,
Yeah.
yes.
Is that
yes.
what you were thinking of? or-
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. I think so far, summer, and then we should plan a retreat in the summer. We traditionally do one in the summer, but I think July, obviously, 16th and August 20th, I think it'd be a good time. Let's put it for July 16th. Review select board policies and code of ethics. I think those are the two items we wanna address for the 16th. If you guys noticed, I spoke to Laura Gem on election day. And I know you can't guarantee a beautiful day in May, but that was, I don't think anyone minded standing out on that day. But Chris has brought it up before, and I have it on here as a discussion. Laura is fine with moving the election. So I just have it on there as a discussion. While the charter committee is still open, because it has to be part of the charter.
Oh, and so, I'm sorry, I missed the beginning. Move it to where?
Move it to late April, early May,
Yeah, that's not a bad idea.
and then town meeting would
Okay,
get
thanks.
moved as well.
Okay, wow.
So
okay.
that's just, I was kinda, I don't wanna say I was surprised at Laura's answer, but she didn't even flinch. Oh, yeah, so.
I'm sorry, would that push town meeting later?
Yes, of course. Whatever day we pick for election, if we change it, town meeting is after.
So is that an absolute, or are you just assuming that?
The
had-
town meeting thing? Oh, that's absolute,
Really?
election and then town meeting,
Okay, didn't know that.
because she specifically brought that up to me, so that was. And since we're going over the charter, and it's only every 10 years.
Yep.
This is our opportunity if we want to move it,
Okay, so our annual election is in the charter.
yes.
Okay, thanks.
Yes, and surrounding communities that are towns have theirs in late April.
We do.
I'm not saying May,
Yeah.
but I wanna have a discussion about it, that's all.
Okay.
Well, we have the
Sounds like a good
opportunity,
plan.
because the window's gonna close and then we might regret it. And then what Mark has been talking about, and I think we definitely have to do it, and then maybe at the next two meetings in June, we can discuss a board retreat in the summer. On a Saturday morning or a weeknight, because we're not meeting that much, maybe we wanna take a weekend away from summer, because summers are short, but that's
Should we plan now to only meet once in August? No.
We are only once in August.
Depends, you know what, I think that's a great idea if it happens, but with you taking up a new committee, maybe it's too early to make a call.
Well, yeah, we'll see, like, again. So anyone else have any future agenda items? Chris?
Thanks, Carla. Office hours have to get brought up again. We stopped doing them, I don't know how long ago.
We've done them off, we get on board, then we fall off the wagon, and then they're not well attended typically, and that's not anyone's fault, but I think that's what dissuades us from having them is that no one or one person comes when anyone can reach out to us for anything, but I'm not opposed to it, I prefer to do them before our meeting, personally, but anyone have any comments on that? I know we've talked about it many times.
I think it's not a bad thought to take them on the road a little bit. So like, for example, the senior center, I think is a good
Yeah,
place
yeah.
to be there. And I know that like Senator Lewis is there, and much. The reps, I think, go there pretty regularly.
Well, if you time it, my thought was to maybe time
Yeah,
it with
time
one
it
of
with
them,
them.
because
Maybe
they
that's a
draw a
good
bigger
idea.
crowd, yeah.
They have a lot of
That could work.
lunches, they do a lot of, yeah.
Yeah.
No, I'm not opposed to it, I just, yeah, if we.
I think we're discussing it, so
do a
we should
roadshow.
probably
Yeah,
put it on a.
All right, yeah, future
instead of
agenda,
discussing.
Yeah.
yeah, good idea, future agenda.
And then what's fallen off the wayside is all the other various boards and committees coming in to give us an update. I believe that's the same thing, it's been quite a while. So I'd like to see about having possibly RCTV come in first. Because I've sent some messages out and I have not received a response.
Okay, do you, is it, I mean, June 4th and June 18th are pretty busy, are you okay with later, or do you wanna try to start ASAP, or kinda?
No, I just think that in terms of
What we used to
who
do.
should be next
Yeah, right,
and
okay.
other ones Matt can navigate with you or whatever, but I would
Okay.
like to see that happen.
Okay, I mean, I'll put it on for July 16th for now.
It's
Unless,
entirely at your
yeah,
discretion.
yeah, unless something opens up, right, unless something opens up. We have June 4th is, water rates, that'll be a healthy discussion. We have PTTF, gazebo, budget vote that we do every year, and then recalc is a presentation. Oh, no. Are we doing that on the 4th discussion? Is that still, or is that after? We're gonna move that to after the 18th, or should we leave that there?
I think we should leave it there for now.
For now, okay.
Sorry, June 3rd is the permanent building committee meeting?
Yes.
So there,
This will be the day
yeah,
after.
so I think we should do that. I think it, in fact, it's just discussion, right? Because the vote
Yeah.
actually is, the
Yeah, it's
PBC has to vote it
Right, it's just
first.
not discussion.
Yeah, so I think just discussion is fine.
Okay,
In
the way it
maybe-
is, yeah. And the 18th, if everything lines up, it's the,
Yeah, I think there should be some update and or probably should add potential extension of recalc as a placeholder
for the 18th.
for the
Yeah,
18th.
for the 18th, okay, right, okay, as part of your presentation that night, like what, another line item? To extend,
Yes.
possibly extend.
Yeah, so I think
I think,
if we're not ready to finish the whole thing and we haven't decided to extend,
no,
then we need to make a presentation.
no, I get it, what I'm saying is I think once we get PBC involved and another committee, is there a need for recalc?
So I think
As a
once
body, as a
PBC
body.
takes over,
Right,
I think, and
cause all the
recalc
inputs,
was going to make a recommendation, so that's the piece that's the question mark. Will it be ready to make the recommendation on the 18th?
okay,
And now it's pending where PBC is.
right, so we're gonna leave it here as a placeholder, and if we have to move it, we're gonna move it.
Yep.
You're gonna keep me updated.
Yes.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right,
And
okay.
if it's got the flexibility of potentially, if there were to be an extension, it probably would just need to be a pretty short one.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah, just like CPA, I know. I don't,
Yeah, you may have some extensions.
that's gonna be a challenge. Anyone else? No, all right. 9:39, I'll take a motion.
We gotta do minutes,
Damn it,
sorry.
getting ahead of myself. Minutes, yes, we have one set of minutes,
No changes.
my Belgium minutes.
So I actually sent in a couple of changes to Kate.
Yeah, I got, let me pull up Mark's real quick, and then I got one from Karen as well. They're both, brief.
So
So the first one's right here. Sorry, Mark, go ahead.
No, you were doing a great job.
Um,
So I thought the presentation was made, but again, so the minutes, I think, should kind of reflect what, not just the topic, what was discussed, but kind of what was the gist of what he was saying. And the gist, it did talk about how do you maximize the length of the time of the reserve staying healthy. That's what he recommended. Didn't put in anything else other than that's what he said.
Okay, it's fine.
And then I believe there's one more.
That was your one.
This is
That-
about
that- oh, second.
right there. When you left the meeting, then Vice Chair took over. and
Okay.
Chair.
Thank you.
I think that was it, right, Caitlin?
Yep, that was it, and then I'll pull up Karen's real quick. And Karen's is, this is to your liaison report, right, Karen, I believe?
Yes. Yep.
Let me make it bigger, it's really small. Hold on. Actually, let's just put this into the minutes, that would be easier.
Even I can't read that.
Hmm. Interesting.
Okay, so what's in blue was her,
Can you make it bigger, please?
so this is what was written before, and the blue is what the edit.
To replace that.
To replace
Oh, to
this,
add,
yeah, I
to replace
just
it.
didn't want to delete it without you seeing what I was
right.
replacing.
Alright.
Yeah, I didn't change that much, but I did clarify some things. Okay, so the bottom of that blue thing, Caitlin, where it says remove MAPC met with staff, that actually needs to be removed. Cause that was the original part, and I was just replacing that with Herrick joined, staff, and RMLD, blah, blah.
Okay.
Thank you. Sorry it wasn't clear.
So is it 2 schools or 3? Because it names 2 but says 3.
There are 2 schools in Watertown and 1 school. It's actually Acton Box. I just said Acton for clarity's sakes. It's the Acton, the address is in Acton, so just leave it Acton. 3 schools, 2 in Watertown, I don't know if it matters.
Alright, I have one I think we need to go over in the summer. Matt, it's about the trash thing that we
Okay.
talked about.
Yeah.
I think so. Do you wanna? I mean, so basically, short story is that Republic wants to renew now. And so I'll leave it there. And there's a lot of stuff that goes with it.
Yeah.
But I don't wanna do a discussion. I just wanna.
So you want to run for a future agenda, is that what you're saying?
Yeah,
Okay, we'd like
please.
that.
Yeah, I
Okay,
guess
sure.
so.
You're saying next meeting, right?
Well,
Not that fast.
no, we don't do that fast.
It
No, no,
doesn't
no.
have to be
No,
that
no,
fast,
no,
but
I
we
just
should
wanna-
talk about it, yeah.
Yeah.
Can we, related to that, talk about, and it will be related to the status of the barrels?
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, I get a lot of questions.
That is related to that, so.
It is, you're correct, yeah. Okay.
Just go back for a second too, can DPW update us on a few things, so that's one of them. The other is town forest status, parking lot status, I don't even know if the DPW should talk about it.
Lot 5, you mean?
Yeah, the,
Yeah,
I mean, it's mostly about the great success, it's
yeah,
unbelievable.
and we are planning, I have some information, but we are planning, like an opening, celebration of that lot.
So maybe if that can be addressed in
An update.
comments at the
Yeah,
next meeting.
yeah,
sure.
okay.
That'd be
Yeah,
awesome.
yeah, we'll have something on that soon. Just wanted to make sure we invited all the correct parties, so.
It's amazing down there.
It is, yeah, no,
Oh
it
my
looks
gosh.
great.
Awesome.
It really came out great, so.
Friends and family, okay. Do you want me to approve the minutes? Yeah, it was Karen, I mean, did we all read the blue, or it was good? Okay, just a 1?
Yeah, that was the only other edit, yep.
Okay,
Move to approve the meeting minutes from May 7th, 2024 as amended.
Second.
any discussion? Seeing none, all those approve. 5-0, thank you. All right, I got ahead of myself last time. 9:45.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Mark seconded. All those in favor? 5-0. Thank you, guys.